This season, what we did for Nigeria, they like saying a season of basbos. And the worst is that election never even starts. Because if election starts, I don't know how this basbos go they reach. Tell me why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, they drag each other like I pass my neighbor generator. To the extent where be say the lobby firm where they employed by Atiku Abubakar don't talk, say they no go rest until they make sure say the United States puts our whole president's name among people where they indicted for drug trafficking. I don't understand. In fact, it good make I even read the headline the way they talk. Because people when they talk say, no. There is more to this than just political opposition. Say, we will not stop until your name is added to the list of leaders indicted by US for drug trafficking. Now, what's in this American firm will be say Atiku Abubakar employee talk. And this one wasn't make them vex. Now, after Bayer Onanuga attack them over submission of something will happen decades ago. Now that they go, they bring out now. Now they convex. Say, you know what? We're not stopping anytime soon until we make sure, say, the United States of America puts your name for people where BC leaders where they indict for drug trafficking. What will you gain? What will you gain in doing this? For that, I'm waiting a lot of Nigerians to talk. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu too. Don't clear Atiku Abubakar. Say, look at you. I declare the mess where you start as a leader. The mess where you are Obasanjo. I they clean up the mess where you are Obasanjo creates. Meanwhile, the same US don't give fresh orders to Nigerian government. This time around, they say, make sure they didn't get the killers of Christians for inside Nigeria, specifically those who kill Rev Ezekiel Dachomo relatives. Remember, say recently, in Command Contact, say 9 of the relatives now BC didn't kill and said they can't send them death threats. So the US now don't give fresh orders, say make them make sure say they get the killers of Reverend Dachomo relatives. Make them make sure say they do them. People can't say what is all this? And to even make matters worse, US can't slam us tariff. And while basically they give some countries 10% tariff and all that, it reach our turn. They increase the tariff to 12.5%. Waiting we do. Waiting we even import one and no go let us rest with now. Questions with people they ask me this. All of these and more issues now we get to discuss this evening with Dr. Katch on Onuju. Sincere apologies that we started late. I've been waiting on Dr. Katch. He's been tied down in some meetings, so I had to wait for him to be ready before we start. But however, let's just brush through the headlines after this break. When we come back, we'll go get through the headlines and then before Dr. Katch joins us for Inside the Studio. Welcome. Good evening. Welcome to Update with Precious. Another beautiful day to bring on an update of all the things that happen for inside our country. If this is not your first time of joining us, or you click on the subscription button now. What do it for now? Subscribe now. And if you be a regular member for this service, so if you say what they conduct, or you pay your tithe and your offering, and you know what's your tithe and offering be, that is like, share. Like them, share them. As you just they enter the church service, you they like the share. And the only contribution you could do, your service to humanity, and be that. Just make sure say you like and share. So as you they enter, continue to like and share as they enter. Make I go read them. Some kind to read them where they hot for inside our papers there today, because it be like say na season of basbos for inside government. I'm coming. Let me just go through some of those dailies very quickly. Now, first up, kidnap ransom scandal. I've never seen 1 billion naira cash in my life before. Oga Lindume, now they talk this one. Remember, Saturday say they arrest the boss here. That is the Borno State Youth Alliance president yesterday. After an interview we get the other day, earlier this week, for Inside Channels Television, where he accused the federal government and state government of collaborating to pay 5 billion naira as ransom for the release of Ngoshe people will be said and kidnap 400 and something of them, but they release about 360 of them. Saying that actually 5 billion naira they pay for their release. Inside that 5 billion will be said and pay. Say the kidnappers, that is the Boko Haram people call and say, Oga Alpha, you see this thing now 5 billion, no, but meanwhile, now only 1.9 billion will receive. What happened to the 3.1? And the question be that. So that one don't come raise a lot of so he can't talk up. Do me say no go take that in. Say 5 billion. Say you never even see 1 billion cash before for your life. Can't talk of 5 billion. We'll get back to that matter. Well, that the response CBC give this evening for Inside Channels Television. 2027, I have no intention to dump APC for APM. Ex Minister of Darkness, Minister of Darkness, Minister of Minister of collapsed okay, no, what's in there right here? Okay, ex-minister of excuse me, please, I beg your pardon. Ex-power minister. Now in the talk this one, Ogadilegu. He talks, even though say no get the ticket for inside PDP for APC to be the governorship candidate of his state, but no, saying that they plan to leave PDP to APM, saying still here. Okay, now shoot at sight. IGP don't issue order to police or police officers against gunmen. Say anybody wanna sing, shoot them aside. Shoot them aside. Now the only thing one that will do for us with this. People say this new order like this, how it take be, and what we really need with this, right? Okay, now police arrest officers in viral video threatening to slap, detain terrorist if he's Igbo. So I'm sure you all would have seen that video, as disturbing, very disturbing as it is. And you can't begin to, you would wonder, say, what will lead us to this level of bigotry for inside our country, Nigeria? And what will go feed do to come out ourselves from this kind of bigotry we get for inside this country? Because it is very shameful and embarrassing. So a police officer waiting for checkpoints, and they don't tell them they need to stand for road. So he did harass a particular, stop a person we be say they for road, a car road user, and tell him say bring document and bring and all that. And when the guy when he still the press for that, seize the guy original license, driver's license. The guy say release my license. Next thing he says that this one way they talk. In fact, let me play the video. It's not good. Let me play very quickly. I wasn't going to waste your time. Now, let me play.
Allah.
Sorry?
That came from America.
Came from UK. I'm the owner, yes.
You live there?
Yes.
You live in Accra?
I live in Accra. Okay. Sorry?
I'll do better thing.
I don't have anything.
Go do better thing. That's his driver's license on his hand there. You can see.
I'll give you.
I just want to see you are very close. That's what I'm going to with another person or Igbo or another person. I'm just
Here, he say if you're Igbo or something else, I will just arrest you.
I don't get anything. That's why. Again, I will give you now. Can I have my driving license? What can I do now? What can I do? I just park. You know, tell me what I do now, guy. No, check my driving license, check my documents.
Well, this video went on and on and on. Please don't let me play all of it. And that's now waiting police don't come out, come talk now. Say they don't arrest the officers, all of them waiting in charge for inside this viral video right now. And people they hail this particular Oga this to say, do you do well? Because a person like you, now you say we need. Now I'm clearing the mess you created as VP. Tinubu don't hit back at Atiku Abubakar. This fight's not going to end soon, though. What's going on here? Kaduna APC aspirant accused party government of marginalization. And then ADC leadership dispute. Court dismisses David Mark's objection to Nafi Gombe's suit. David Mark being object Nafi Gombe's suit. Court don't say this your objection where you object this suit. Oh yeah, come out and put for one corner say, may the suit continue. 2027, Kwankwaso replies Ganduje over NDC tickets. Dead on arrival comments. Now, let me explain that to you. So, Ganduje, the former chairman of the APC, make a statement when he say he talk, say the Obi Kwankwaso ticket, forget about it. It is dead on arrival. Say they no go fit win anything. In fact, say they no get waiting, say Kwankwaso no get waiting they take, or they no get waiting they take, rather generally, to win the core north. Now, Kwankwaso don't reply and tell and see what they talk. When he be governor, gone, we all let him. We deal with them. Ain't no win. 2015, now we help and come into power. But 2023, when he's in be governor, ain't no fin win us. Now we win them. Then how in things say we'll not go fit do well. That's not what we say. It talks. Say make them forget about that thing. So people come to talk say all this you cannot get vote in the north, you cannot get vote in the north. Is it very deliberate to some sort of just demoralize people so that people could just feel like say no hope. So we could just take what we get like that. That's not the reason. But I'll let you in on some of the crazy narrative game or war where ABC they go on. Kaduna NDC rejects alleged imposition, demand governorship primaries. And an Osun Gubapol will test credibility of Nigeria's democracy. Adeleke campaign cancel. Now they talk this one. And then moving on, global crude oil prices drop after climbing to $100 per barrel. As it don't drop now, I hope say the speed one I use increase fuel price. Now the speed one I go use reduce and back. While we hear that Dangote MRS filling stations shut for 7 days amid fuel price hike. Yes, most of those filling stations were shut. I couldn't even buy fuel while driving out today. Now kidnaps. Okay, let's see what we have here. NCC signs MOU with RIA to provide improved telecommunications energy in rural communities. And then your votes will count. INEC, Amokito to Nigerians. Eh? Okay, Oga Mokwe to say make I tell and say on a vote go they counted. Now the message be that I bet not gonna take the message, leave the messenger. All right. Governor Peter Mbao of Enugu State breaks silence over Enugu air incident in Benin Airport. I'm sure you heard about that story where we say happened for inside Enugu Air, where the thing crash land for Benin and people for near small bush like that, where people just begin come out. In fact, now so people just thank God. I know say they don't finish blood of Jesus for inside that incident where BC happened, but we give God all the glory that they are alive and well. Taraba teenager dies after alleged assault in martial custody. I am an electrician suspected Edo kidnap gang leader denies charges. Troops they say him be kidnap gang leader, but he say him be electrician. Troops arrest 5 suspected kidnappers, recover arms. And then troops, Navy arrest 3 suspected Lakurawa terrorist informants in Kebbi State. Well, all of these and more issues now in this particular paper. No, could just rush, sharp, enter inside another paper because more to read them day. We'll be say we'll look at this evening. And yes, Lagos introduces building insurance scheme, says safety must match development. I agree. And we agree with it. Well done, Governor Sanwo-Olu. I've never seen 1 billion in my life. I told you that already. And then Trump says hasn't decided on big Iran strikes. Tehran getting serious. Let's see what we have here. 1.32 billion naira allocation. No cover was released to PFIPC. Budget office tells reps. So say this budget we be say then give fake agents. I'm not gonna know worry ourselves. So they never release they've not released inside. Be bold enough to support your king's man. Atiku blast Obasanjo over Naaba bribery claim. Okay, say Obasanjo they don't talk a lot of things. One of which also been there inside the book. When he talks, say, if for no forgive himself, if you say hand over to Atiku Abubakar. Now they hear what Abubakar they tell him. Say, make it bold enough to support in Kingsman, maybe who? Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All right. Do you think that Obasanjo? Well, let me read that story so that you just get it very clear. So, presidential candidate of the ADC, Atiku Abubakar, has described former President Olusegun Obasanjo's allegation that he bribed late Right Honorable Gali Umaro Naaba to impeach him as politically motivated, aimed at boosting the electoral fortunes of Obasanjo's preferred candidates ahead of the 2027 presidential election. Now, in a statement issued by his special assistant in media and publication, Frank Shaibu, or communication, Atiku said, coming at a time when the political landscape ahead of the 2027 general election is taking shape, the obvious objective is to besmirk my person and reputation and confer an undeserved political advantage on the former president's kinsman. Tinubu, I mean, get another kinsman when gets. Nigerians, however, know better. They are too discerning to be distracted by the stale allegations resurrected for political convenience. That's how you talk. You go a lot, you talk more past like that, but we could just leave and move on to other issues. So time don't reach when be so good. They see a lot of buzzwords. I wish I could even play you videos of what Obasanjo even said, but unfortunately, we don't have time to get all of that done. So let's move on to other issues very quickly. So moving on, 2027, Abdul Salami urges INEC to resist political pressures, calls for free, fair, credible election. Abdul Salami Abubakar Sir. Abdul Salami, starting with the constitution where you give us first of all. You sure say you really want us to get free, fair, and credible election? Because every time you sign peace pact, all the peace pacts the way they sign like this finish, peace still need to happen, ballot the snatch. In the midst of the peace pact is snatch a sign, people they die, and you never one day can condemn those people. Them that is call out the political people then when they involved in this. Call them out because with the level of intelligence we supposed get as head of state, person will be say be don't serve as interim. You supposed know the people we they fan all of this chaos and you supposed condemn them. Well, that now waiting Nigerians they tell them. Now, let's move on. As Lagos police nab 6 Liberian nationals for alleged abduction, human trafficking. And the Navy naps 12 crew members, intercept vessel carrying suspected stolen crude oil. That one, a part of within ABCD for Inside the News. Benue government partners distribute dignity kits to girls in IDP camp. You know what's in dignity kit means to girls in IDP camp. Now, is this not supposed to be regular supply? They're not supposed to get them as regular supply. Why would they on the news say you do them? Well, that's my question. So basically people they ask. Let's go straight to other issues in the news very, very quickly. Whilst we have Dr. Katch join us. So Tinubu government knows every terrorist by name, location. I go with police, military orders. People just a flashback and they remember waiting Ibise Oga Ahmed Gumi being talk in the past. Now, right groups knocks Bola Tinubu over silence after killing of 23 farmers in APC-controlled Zamfara state. In case you don't understand, the right group they talk say APC 9 day in charge of Zamfara state to 23 people 9 they kill anyhow. They don't even bury themselves because most of them are Muslims. They don't bury them. And the right group now they knock President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Say since 23 people die, Oga, you never talk anything. You just keep quiet. I mean, they not be human being enough. Why you know if you talk? As they kill these people them. In fact, if you don't listen well, if your ear no dey ground, you no go even know, say, people been die for Zamfara state for Nigeria. That's how bad it is. Like some deaths, they were worthy of reaction and response, and some just they too insignificant. Well, that now within the way people they see them. Because if you look at the same attack or kidnap that happened in Borno state and the same one will happen for inside Oyo state, how swift the government day in acting and also laud them, especially sending delegates to commiserate to the families of the Oyo State people. But without sending delegates, also commiserate to the families of the Borno State people. People don't blame their state governors, respective state governors. So, can they make noise? Oga Zulum, what you do about this one? Now, it don't happen for Zamfara State. How many noise will the Zamfara State governor will be now an APC guy? Waiting he don't do. Waiting he don't talk about them. We don't even hear them do about the matter. That now waiting people, they talk. Say, while this kind of thing no go persist if it be seen as so it be. Meanwhile, American missionary Alex Baba don't they find trouble again? Oh, because this time around, don't call Oga Benji enter inside the matter. Say, Oga Benji, come. I need attention, please. Your attention is needed here. We need you to come and see what's going on in Nigeria. Okay, so he draws American missionary Alex Barber draws Netanyahu's attention to Christian killings, renewed insecurity under Tinubu's government after Israeli Prime Minister vows to go after terrorists and their sponsors. Now, let me just give you a quick detail of that story. So now, okay, so Netanyahu made the declaration that security concerning security crisis, he said, please deal with. Okay, he said Alex Barber said, please deal with Nigeria after. This one, he said it's after the Israeli Prime Minister vowed to pursue terrorists and everyone supporting terrorists. I mean, say, Netanyahu need to carry a terrorist. It be like say they do something for informal life, so he sabi the vex of them well. So as he talk that thing again, Alex said, no go far. Start with Nigeria. They where did he do anyhow for Nigeria? Now Netanyahu made the declaration in a statement following a series of terrorist attacks in Israel, promising an uncompromising response against those responsible. In fact, quoting excerpt from his speech, it says, "We will pursue terror everywhere." Now that everywhere we put for that statement, so now we to make Alex, or Alex, my brother, not Alex, our colleague. Alex, my brother, don't come out contact. So you know what? Since you say you go pursue terrorists everywhere, or go start with, I know a country where you can start with. But let me quote that speech again. He says, "We will pursue terror everywhere. We will reach the terrorists via dispatchers and everyone who assists them, and we will settle accounts with them." Netanyahu, I'm waiting a right with that one. So the Israeli Prime Minister announced several security measures, including the demolition of a suspected attacks home, intensified operations in areas identified as terrorist strongholds, increased troop deployment, the establishment of additional checkpoints, and other actions aimed at strengthening Israel's fight against terrorism. Now, he also exposed expressed condolences to family of victims killed in the attack, wished the injured speedy recovery, and reaffirmed his government's commitment to defeating terrorism. Now, responding to Netanyahu's post on social media, Alex Barber wrote, although the missionary did not elaborate on his brief appeal, that is, the comment has drawn attention. He wrote, please deal with Nigeria. That's the first thing he wrote. So responding to Netanyahu, he just wrote, please deal with Nigeria. Wow. Okay. So although he did not emphasize or say much about it, but everybody just knows, Alex, our brother. Alex, our brother, are not classmates. What is going on here? Why are you saying this? Now, his latest appeal came directly beneath Netanyahu's message on combating terrorism, prompting reactions from social media users who interpreted it as a call for increased international concern over Nigeria's ongoing security situation. But Oga Benji, they fight the team for his own hometown. No? Now, in country first, he never protecting people to finish. He won't making carry waiting go, he's protecting people to protect others. While others talk, so this is a global crime on a global menace. So if you deal with them one side, you will deal with them, you will affect them the other side. I'm waiting people to talk. Now, Tinubu's administration arrested Kaigames to silence him by all means. This time, waiting social media people them done the talk as visiting they condemn the attack of the Borno Youth Alliance president, the way we be say they use the treat him and how they use attack him. You know, they talk this one, say, you guys did this one to silence him so that he will not have to say much, right? Okay, now, that's what you did. And then arrested Borno Youth leader Ibrahim Kaigame exposes how APC government and Boko Haram terrorists negotiated 40-day ceasefire following payment of ransom for kidnapped Ngushi victims. 40 days, did they give us conditional? Make I read the news. Now, okay. Now, he claimed the arrangement temporarily halted attacks while efforts were made to secure the release of abductees in the Northeast. Now, speaking during the interview he had with Channels Television before his arrest, Kaigame also alleged that the government engages in ransom payment. I told you that yesterday and I played it yesterday, and truce agreements with the terrorist group rather than relying solely on military operations. He was arrested by operators of the DSS, Department of State Services, after the interview. A development that has drawn criticism from some observers and right advocates. Now, the Department of State Services recently arrested Samaila Ibrahim Kaigama shortly after his appearance on Channels Television Sunrise Daily program. And of course, Oga don't respond to most of the allegations we be say enough for head. That is Oga Ali Ndume don't respond to some of those allegations. And that now some of the core of it we'll go discuss with Dr. Katch today for Inside the Show. Now, education advocate Alex Onyas criticizes public officials who celebrate sending children abroad while public schools in Nigeria decline. I honestly don't blame him. So I'm sure that one of the reasons why he made that criticism was because of Wike's daughter, who graduated, of course, with good honor, second class up, I think so, as in a law-related course from his university in the United Kingdom. Why would they praise? So, big man became they intelligent, they do well, but waiting happened to Nigerian schools. Same way you go ask the question, waiting happened to Nigerian hospitals. Why lead a country where you cannot enjoy its services? It doesn't like say you cook food where you no go fit chop. And this thing a big mess among. In fact, I think that Nigeria needs a reset. Lately, I've been in the mood to really pour my heart about what may happen for inside the country, but maybe not be today, because I don't know how we don't reach this level where we say things don't day almost at all time low and nonsensical way for inside Nigeria. There is no country that can continue. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have a lot of work in your hands. So leave politics. So be Jagaba, not be saying you be tough. The first time Nigeria they get a politician as a president, you need to show working by recalibrating this country. There is no way we can make any headway with the present way with Nigeria just day like this, waiting what they do now. They're possible. A country where politics is the fastest way to get rich. Politics is the most lucrative industry in Nigeria. It's not possible. As long as that disparity day between political office holders and the people where they lead, the country not go feel better like that. How can you be a political office holder? Immediately you enter inside office. Now, quick way you go to buy houses, you go buy cars, you go do this. Nobody go feel question your source of wealth. It doesn't matter. And meanwhile, people where poor die, where be seen at their commonwealths, follow for waiting to make you get all those riches. Where fit make you get all those riches. Go just be side by side by you. I don't understand the kind of country we run. Where all President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you get work to do. How dare politicians in fact, Nigerians say that's in way Amechi talk and true. They are doing what they're doing because you refuse to stone them. Because if you stone them, I'm sure they would rethink it. How can a politician have the temerity to send his own children to other schools in the country, in elsewhere, and leave? In fact, let me take a quick break. I'm coming back because right now I'm really very emotional. Please, I'll join you back.
Touching on this visit is a very sentimental and constructive thing for me as a president and as a man who has been nominated for the second term. I hold democracy, consistency, dedication, and steady facts to stabilize the country, the polity, the economy. And one of the greatest aspects of it is the economy. The economy is already stabilized. So many of the governors here present, I want to say thank you very much. I want to charge you to do more. I remember I asked passionate plea for some road network in the Northeast. As if we have started the journey and we are writing a new manifesto. But I fulfilled the promise. I could see the leadership of Northeast challenged because of terrorism and banditry. I could see our collaboration, that we work together. Only we stick together, we think together, we face the challenges the best way possible as a united
I would have to replay
country.
that once Dr. Katch joins us. That's about it. And, so everything is not about calculation, how to stay in power, remain in power, get power, consolidate. How about how to better the country? How did we get to a level where immorality, lies, deception, theft, everything they in almost all-time high? And we're not doing anything about it. And we're jolling in politics. For our mind, we're thriving because politics is sweet when we're winning. But the country is declining. Nigerian passports, they decline. Nigerians are constantly treated as gibberish in other countries. and by other countries. And then our politicians have the mind to be marrying and be happy without conscience. And to think of the fact that, in fact, I think there's a lot to do about this. Nigerians, you guys are not ready. Because I don't think there should be any law that should allow any Nigerian politician to hold another passport. Not just the politicians, them and their family members. If you want to come and contest as a politician, make sure you're loyal 101% to this country. I think that's the only way Nigeria can get it better, because I don't understand what's going on. Well, let me just go through other headlines, Jerry, while Dr. Katch is almost here with us. So moving on to other issues very quickly, sincere apologies, because the case about Nigeria can be really very disturbing. Now, U.S. Department or U.S. directs Tinubu's government to fish out those responsible for killings of Reverend Dachomo's relatives in Plateau State. And this particular news is, it's troubled a lot of people, and people they talk say, I think it's about time that we paid attention to that. So you can see that the United States strongly, and this from in fact, let me go straight and read that news so that would say it. So the administration of the United States, US President Donald Trump, has condemned the killing of family members of Plateau-based cleric Rev Ezekiel Dachomo and other Christians in Plateau State, describing the attack as horrific and calling for those responsible to be brought to justice. Now, in a statement issued today, Thursday, the U.S. Bureau of African Affairs expressed concerns over the continued violence against Christian communities and other vulnerable groups in Nigeria's Middle Belt. Now, the United States strongly condemns the horrific killing of members of Reverend Dachomo's family in Plateau State, Nigeria. The continued violence targeting Christian communities and other vulnerable populations in Nigeria, Middle Belt, is deeply alarming. The statement reads in parts. And then the US government also extended its condolences to the families of the victims and urged Nigerian authorities to intensify efforts to prevent attacks on Christians and other vulnerable communities. And they say, we extend our deeper condolences to the victims, families, and others, and all those affected. Nigerian officials, we must do more to prevent violent acts like those yesterday. Now, the perpetrators must be held accountable, and urgent action is needed to strengthen security and protect Christians and other vulnerable communities, the statement reads. Now, it reaffirmed the United States' commitment to working with the Nigerian government and international partners to combat terrorism and violent extremism. Now, the United States remains committed, they said, to working with the Nigerian government and other and our partners to combat terrorism, counter violence, extremism, and ensure that Christians and all Nigerians can live and practice their faith in peace without fear of violence or persecution, they said, part of the statements read. I don't know if you remember that Reverend Dachomo drew the attention of the international community recently, in recent months, following repeated attacks on Christian communities in Plateau, particularly his immediate relatives. So, and again in May, President Trump shared a video of the cleric conducting a burial of church members killed in the attack. I showed you that video then he shared it, and people were like, okay, so this is drawing the right attention. By the way, Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, is in the news. Abia ranks third fastest improving state in Nigeria, according to reports. So, and then be number 3 fastest improving state. And then they saw a video of him that went viral today, when he was reacting to a question around what Hope Uzodinma said, the governor of Imo State said, where he said that all Southeast governors have resolved to ensure that President Tinubu comes back for second tenure. And Alex Oti basically just said that you they talk your own. You they talk your own as Imo State governor. Government na separate thing. Get national, we get states. No be say you join all the states together, can't talk the mind of everybody. They like that. And people are wondering, okay, so whose side are you? And then, of course, he also did say that, he supports President Tinubu's policies, and he's always been in support of it. And he said quite a lot concerning that. But let's move on to other issues very quickly. Moving on, after 110 days in terrorist captivity, 7 abducted Southern Kaduna victims, including 2 newborns, die in kidnappers' den. This is sad. Very sad. So at least 9 victims abducted from Ariko and Anwo villages in a Kachia local government area of Kaduna State have reportedly died in terrorist captivity after spending more than 3 months in captivity, with the death toll including 2 babies born inside the kidnappers' camp. Now, the victims were among residents abducted during a separate attacks rather, on the neighboring southern Kaduna communities, inhabited predominantly by members of the, I think, Kutumi ethnic group, while the Ariko hostages have spent 110 days in captivity. Those from Awon have now held, I think they've been held for about 95 days now. According to journalists and former Kaduna State Governor spokesperson Ruben Buhari, 7 of the deceased were among the Ariko hostages, while the remaining 2 were newborn babies delivered by women abducted from Ariko and our villages. This is sad. Reading these stories will just leave you with, I don't know, an expression that you can't explain, honestly speaking. Now, US imposes new 12.5% tariff on Nigerian exports, and the Governor Oti files 5 billion naira defamation suit against Abia APC Publicity Secretary over diversion of public funds allegations. Okay, so I divert public fund there, or yeah, come and show us. Come and show us. Let's know how. Come and tell the court how I diverted public funds. All right. So moving on to the story about Atiku Abubakar and his lobby team, a United States US-based firm has responded to criticism from Bola Ahmed Tinubu's spokesperson Bayo Nanoga, declaring that it would continue its campaign against the former Lagos State governor over a decade-old narcotics allegations. So he said, of course, people say that this is the firm. This, as the firm said, it would not relent until Bola Tinubu's name is one. It is one day added to the list of heads of state indicted by the United States for drug trafficking. Kai, but this is bad. This is bad. So the firm or the company, they could say they no go stop waiting, then they do. Say they will continue until one day they add our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu name among the names of heads of states who ABCD indicted for drug trafficking. What will you gain? What will you gain? Okay. All right then. So moving on with that allegation, the firm made the remarks in a statement issued after a day of meetings with members of the United States Congress, during which it said it discussed Nigeria and issues surrounding Tinubu's past narcotics records. Now, according to the group, it also expressed appreciation to Congressman Chris Smith for raising concerns about the Tinubu administration during a congressional hearing titled UN Accountability and Reform, Advancing an American First Foreign Policy. It was in that congressional hearing that I told you that the UN representative, the US representative in the United Nations spoke very firmly on Christian genocide in Nigeria. Now, responding to Onanuga's criticism over its submission of decades-old narcotics records to US President Donald Trump, the firm accused Tinubu of portraying efforts to highlight the allegations as an attack on Nigeria rather than on personality. In case you don't understand, the company they talk say, why they make and look like say we attack the entire country? Or cannot be the entire country commit the crime that year for US. Now you particularly, not be the entire country. So why are you making it look like it's the entire country that committed that crime? That's what the firm is saying, variably. According to the group, it has expressed appreciation. Of course, I told you that. So the lobbying firm argued that equating the allegations with an attack on Nigeria was unfair to ordinary Nigerians, insisting that the country's image should not be linked to claims surrounding any individual. God bless you. He said, when I say that we are not a reflection of anybody, people don't understand it. This is it. So they say, it is unfair to Nigerians if they say one person behavior. Okay, somebody go traffic Pekin. You can't say, these Nigerians, as all of them be children traffickers. No, now that person commits the offense because you have people across every race, ethnic group, nationality, country committing crimes. You don't equate one person's crime to the entire country. That's now within the lobby firm they talk about. Moving on, it maintains that exposing alleged drug trafficking was not an unpatriotic act, but a pursuit of justice, because Onanuga had mentioned that it was an unpatriotic act. And he added that he would continue engaging policymakers in Washington on that matter or on the matter. Now, the group further alleged that Tinubu's past should remain under scrutiny and declared that he would not stop its advocacy until his name was in its words. Make a quote him now. One day added to the list of heads of states indicted by the United States of America for drug trafficking, alongside former leaders Juan Orlando Hernandez, and then Manuel Noriega and Nicolas Maduro. This is bad. What will you gain, Oga? What will you gain for doing this? What profitest thou? Now, the statement follows Onanuga's attack on the lobbying firm's efforts after it submitted decades-old narcotics records relating to Tinubu to the Trump's administration. The presidency has consistently maintained that the matter was resolved decades ago, that there are no criminal charges against Tinubu in the United States. So this matter, it be like say go long well, it never they end anytime soon. They could see him. Now, also the map doesn't speak for me on the entire Southeast or the entire Southeast people. Alex Otti rejects Imo governor's claims on Tinubu's 2027 endorsement. And Tinubu government allocates 15.4 billion naira, allocates 15.4 billion naira for renewed Hope Transport Scheme and provision of vehicles in Abia State under Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Well, let's just quickly go to other headlines. I'm so sorry, Dr. Katch is battling with a network to join us, but I would have to resolve the phone calls once I'm done with this, and he's unable to join. Now, moving on very quickly, nurses demand probe of Kaduna Psychiatric Hospital MD over query issues to colleague for social media posts. And then military airstrike kills 15 suspected ISOP fighters in Borno State. Your votes will count in 2027, INEC Chairman Amokito assures Nigerians. And then repentant bandits arrested after Hajj released in Katsina after police interrogation. Repentant bandits arrested after Hajj released in Katsina after police interrogation. So wait, those people that they arrested, that they said they took to Hajj and all that arrested, they've released them. Okay. Now, nowhere is like home. Tinubu begs Nigerian doctors, health workers in diaspora to return. Oh, yeah, Nigerians, let me read the story of what our president said to you. The president made the appeal today, Friday, while receiving members of the Nigerian Diaspora Medical Association, led by the Director General of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri. He said, "Makona, come back home. No place they like home. See, you're a nurse in Obodo Ibo, you're a doctor in Obodo Ibo. He cannot pay you the way to pay you if you were a nurse and a doctor in Nigeria. See, there is no way you enjoy your life to the fullest. So it's fullest like you will in Nigeria." That's what the president said. Now, police documents reveal repentant bandits told investigators they paid for their own Hajj amid Katsina sponsorship controversy. Let's dig into the story very quickly. Now, documents exclusively obtained by Sahara reporters have revealed that several alleged repentant bandits at the center of the controversy over claims that the Katsina state government sponsored their 2026 Hajj pilgrimage told police or police investigators that they personally funded their religious exercise. Where did they work? As in repent, can't stop. What's in they can't work, we go make them sponsor their Hajj. Now, they contradicted allegations by public that public funds were used to finance their trip. Now, the document comprising witness statements, official police correspondence, and responses from the Katsina State Pilgrimage Welfare Board formed part of an investigation launched by the Katsina State Police Command, following allegations made by Ahmad Bello University lecturer and public affairs analyst Bashir Kurfi, who was arrested for making that statement, by the way. Kurfi had alleged during an interview with Trust Television that they carried the 10 million naira and they used sponsor them go Hajj. Now, the allegations generated widespread controversy, prompting the Katsina state government to petition the police. Kurfi was subsequently arraigned before a chief magistrate court in Katsina state on charges bordering on defamation, of character and injurious falsehood. He was remanded in prison before being granted bail earlier this week. So, however, documents seen indicates that investigators recorded statements from community leaders, local government officials, Fulani leaders, and pilgrims, that is the pilgrims themselves, many of whom insisted they paid their Hajj fares from personal resources. Doing what exactly? And that personal resources cannot be probed. That's the question. Now, one of the principal witnesses, Salisu Buhari, a retired civil servant and chairman of the Peace Accord Committee in Damuso local government area, told investigators that one Ardo Abdukarim Abdullahi, a Fulani leader, approached him several months earlier to inform him that one Omaro Mainore, who he described as a repentant bandit involved in ongoing peace efforts in the area, wished to perform the 2026 Hajj. Well, the matter along well, but you don't hear them. So they say no be a government money they use, carry them go Hajj. In case you've been thinking that it is government money that was expended to take them to Hajj. I take a quick break and I connect with Dr. Katch very quickly. Since he's unable to join us on the video, I take a quick break to connect with him again.
You only have spoken with him on the phone and exchanged messages with him. But are you aware that he has helped out in the rescue or the release of some abducted persons in Borno State?
No, I'm not aware. I'm only aware that after this issue and the halubalu that he has been talking about, some people from my constituency came to me to say Hegama defrauded them or extorted money from them by asking them to contribute money for the release of the people. But all of them that he claimed or he collected money on behalf, up to now, have not been released. So the people who came after we started this back and forth something, to say they are reporting this matter, I said, go to the appropriate authority. So he has a case now with the EFCC about extortion or financial crime, which is the appropriate authority. And I think the other agencies like DSS and police are also aware. And I also reported the case to the police after he consistently or he made all those defamatory comments about me, and I said, this is getting out of hand and I need to do something. Financial crime, which is the appropriate authority. And I think the other agencies like DSS and police are also aware. And I also reported the case to the police after he consistently or he made all those defamatory comments about me, and I said, this is getting out of hand and I need to do something. So that's why I reported to the police, reported to NSA, reported to DSS, and I'm also going to take him to court on this matter because it's serious defamation of character.
You only have spoken with him on the phone and exchanged messages with him. But are you aware that he has helped out in the rescue or the release of some abducted
Nigeria
persons
is the deadliest place on earth to be a
State?
Christian today. Since 2019, tens of thousands of Christians in Nigeria have been slaughtered as part of a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence by Islamist jihadis ignored or enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram are allowed to operate without any meaningful response from authorities. A courageous leader named Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted in a farce show trial for speaking out about what's happening. He's currently serving a life sentence in prison, convicted on false terrorism charges. I implore my colleagues to support my bill, HRES 1321, calling on the Nigerian government to conduct another trial in accordance with its own constitution, based on evidence, with access to legal counsel, medical care, and international law pertaining to humane conditions of detention, or, better yet, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu immediately and unconditionally. America gives billions to Nigeria. We will not continue to fund a Christian genocide. We have the moral obligation to stand up so our Christian brothers and sisters can worship the Lord our God in peace. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield. Nigeria is the deadliest place on earth to be a Christian today. Since 2019, tens of thousands of Christians in Nigeria have been slaughtered as part of a sustained pattern of religiously motivated violence by Islamist jihadis ignored or enabled by the Nigerian government. Extremist groups like Boko Haram are allowed to operate without any meaningful response from authorities. A courageous leader named Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted in a farce show trial for speaking out about what's happening. He's currently serving a life sentence in prison, convicted on false terrorism charges. I implore my colleagues to support my bill, HRES 1321, calling on the Nigerian government to conduct another trial in accordance with its own constitution, based on evidence, with access to legal counsel, medical care, and international law pertaining to humane conditions of detention.
Nigeria. You are one of the few people I know who was deployed there to try to help protect those who are being slaughtered, including the Christians. Yes, Muslims get killed too, if they speak out. Christians get targeted because of the infidels, and the radical Islamic belief is you deserve to die. And whether it be Boko Haram, ISIS West Africa, or the Fulani, we need to do more, and you have taken the lead on that, and you might want to speak to that if you would, because I think Nigeria is one of those cases where if the government gets serious, and I mean really serious, they can come off the CPC designation, but do so by murdering it. I yield.
Well, thank you, Representative Smith, and thank you for your long history of taking these issues on and actually getting out there on the ground to see them firsthand rather than opining from D.C. And I will say, I have to give credit where credit's due. Secretary Guterres has taken on the issue in a meaningful way of not just peacekeepers, but it's often local vendors being paid by the UN who are conducting this type of abuse. On Nigeria, yes, we are taking the persecution of Christians very seriously. I have to say, I did not have Nicki Minaj on my dance card, but to have her with her global following at the UN to put a spotlight on this issue was a real honor, and I think it's one of the things the UN can do well in terms of having that global platform and having the entire world right there in New York. And we've seen the Nigerian government move as a response to the president's attention, our attention, her attention, and others on the issue. They're cooperating with us more than they were on counterterrorism. They're cooperating in terms of their security force capacity. They still have some work to do, frankly, in terms of the Sharia law that is in place in many of these local provinces. And make no mistake, churches are being burned, pastors are being executed, people are being arrested literally for just wearing a cross around their neck. And the Christian religion is the most persecuted religion in the world right now, and this administration and I, as its representative at the UN, are taking it incredibly seriously in every action that we can.
All right, so you don't see some of those deliberations about waiting they go on for Nigeria, particularly the case of Nnamdi Kanu, where the congressman they asked, say, made them revoke, made them start them again, and made them revisit the case. Do you think that that would be the case? So whilst we try to connect to Dr. Katch, because the network has been very bad, let me remind you of some excerpt of that interview with Daniel Bwala as he reacts.
I'm sure you did not even congratulate us for the abducted people that were restored recently. Did you congratulate me for the letter? Did you congratulate us that the collaboration is becoming deeper? At least if Nigerian people hear from you, they will know that this is a real. It's not a question of whether it is true or not. So why don't we talk about the progress that has been made? The question
I've just asked you now is what objective metrics should Nigerians conclude that this security is generally improving?
And I said the metrics is the progress we are making, which is resulting in the report you are hearing, including the present report that the President of the United States lauded Nigerian government for this deeper collaboration and the progress it's making. And if your question is that if there is a collaboration, there shouldn't be any security situation in Nigeria, then I would say respectfully that you are not being objective about it. America is the strongest secured country in the world. But 2 months ago, you know that there was an attempt at the president twice. Insecurity is an ongoing thing. We have repaired, we have resolved, reduced the attack, we have gone on the offense. There are so many things to talk about so that that woman in the rural area, that man in the rural area will rather be encouraged that progress is made rather than doomsday conversation that nothing is happening.
But indeed, if security has improved, Mr. Bwala, why do many communities still remain displaced or inaccessible?
The progress has been made.
Why? Why is it happening?
That's because, okay, like as you are now, if I'm trying to look at the best description of, you go to church probably, and it is not the will of God that people should be poor.
Why are there poor people in church?
Is that your standard of comparison or
no? I'm asking you. You go
is that
to
your
church.
gauge?
No,
I'm not the one to answer questions. You are the one.
No, journalists can answer. Lately, you can answer. If you ask a question that requires you want to respond, because we are not in any police department where they are doing interrogation. We are having a conversation.
It's a process. The process.
But I'm asking.
The journalist asks the question. The interviewee being the one to answer the question.
Then sometimes the interviewee, in order to give a proper answer, revert a question back to the journalist to give a context of which the answer will be given. Do you go to church? If yes, do you believe in Bible? Yes. There shall be no poor in our midst. Do you hear? Why are there poor people? It is the will of God that everybody should.
Is that prosper. The answer to the fact that the reason why we still have inaccessible communities
if you answer that question,
and displaced?
If you answer that question, we would have found an answer to your question.
Don't dance around the question.
Let's
just have the conversation.
You have asked an
rather than
question.
Being on the defense. We're not here. We're talking about the Nigerian people and the Nigerian state. And we're talking about issues that affect the lives and the livelihood of people. People are watching tonight to get an understanding, to understand the perspective of this government. And you drifted
away from those understanding. You asked the metrics. I answered the metrics. What else? What's the difference between the metrics and this question?
I'm asking you, why are some communities still displaced? What are the hopes that they have that they are going to be reached in such a way that their communities are going to be accessible?
The hope that they will have is that we recently got the abducted people back to their homes. The hope that they will have is that we eliminated the second in command in ISIS. The hope that they will have is that every single, even in your monologue now, you talked about suspected people to be prosecuted. The hopes that they have are the successes we are making, which a simple visit to the website of the armed forces, you will see everyday result. The hope that they will have is that the territory of Nigeria right now is secure. People are going about their business, which never used to be like that. The hope that they will have is that we'll have a president that is on the job and he's doing what he needs to do. The hope that they will have is that even though there must be, I'll repeat for the third time, there must be skirmishes of insecurity in different parts of Nigeria, even when you are making the progress. But the hope that they will have is that government is on top of his toe and the government is achieving the result. What is the next question that will be different from this one? Because you used to ask my question the same. You come around 5 times.
I
don't know why this is
what has become of you lately?
I have had my.
All right, so joining us inside the series, Dr. Katch. Sincere apologies. The network has been terrific tonight, and it's been practically impossible for him to join us. Dr. Katch, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Sincere apologies for the struggles trying to join us, sir.
I thank you very much. I'm happy to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Are you okay? You sound like you have a cold. I hope you're fine, sir.
Whatever it is, I'm fine. It's a hectic life of living your life as a Nigerian. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just great.
Okay. All right, sir. So I would like to begin this evening's conversation with a recent buzz between your president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and your former vice president, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And there's been this buzz. Atiku's lobby firm don't say they don't share things we get to do with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. According to them, narcotics related deal for future deal. We happened years back. Say they don't submit them to U.S. Congress and Trump administration. And then Bayo Onanuga responded, and for the response, he said they act on waiting, more like say they irrelevant, because this now something we say don't happen years back. Now, person when no they patriotic, then go bring up something we don't happen years back. One can use them indict innocent person today. It don't make sense. But sir, do you know that the lobby firm has now responded and said that they will not rest until our president's name is added as in the list of heads of states that have been indicted for drug, and then add Maduro and the rest of them for that list? Yeah, is this fair? Let me take a reaction to this, sir. Even President Tinubu blast back Atiku today will say in they pay pensions so they no pay after privatization, saying they clean up the mess way Atiku them do. But let me take a reaction, sir.
I actually read that.
Yes, sir.
I read it twice.
Wow.
What I would say is it is politics. There is nothing wrong in citizens demanding answers to questions, especially questions that were not answered. So taking the question international using lobby firms, I think is simply trying to match President Tinubu's actions in kind.
But sir, is that not too irrelevant at this time? Is it even necessary? Especially when the case has gone through our Supreme Court. It went through our Supreme Court.
No. It has never gone through our Supreme Court.
You know, say some people they talk, say Supreme Court don't attend to them because say then dismiss them that time during election tribunal. So that means they don't, be say they never hear of them before, they don't hear of them. And the Supreme Court could not immediately act, in urgency. Then what are we worrying ourselves about? How about that, sir?
Nigerian courts are compromised.
Yeah, well.
So if the courts as they are now remain compromised, citizens could, in desperation, do exactly what Atiku is doing.
Wow. So that means any reaction from our courts cannot be trusted. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yes, because we know our courts are compromised. Remember what President Goodluck said? That if you have an issue with somebody and you are very sure these issues are serious and the person tells you to go to court, and you should simply understand that his brother or his ally
is in that court.
The judge.
Yes.
And that's simply that's why we don't need to lie about our country. Our country is under state capture. Those who have become the protagonists of that state capture has forced our courts into very, very disgraceful compromise. You heard what Ted Cruz said, that instead of our government to answer to the questions regarding the violence in Nigeria, which we see as a slow motion war, they are hiring lobbyists to try to blow the storyline in the international community, and in this case, within the American political system. So that's the reason why Atiku, being frustrated at what the president is doing and hiring lobbyists to try to blow the pictures, blow the lines of our local issues, which we've tried to internationalize.
But sir, is that not causing unnecessary embarrassment to Nigeria? The reason I'm saying this is that if you look at passport ratings, Nigerian passport has dropped internationally, also dropped in Africa. And countries across the globe keeps treating Nigeria and Nigerians bad, one way or the other, as though we're all thieves. The other day, a South African minister almost referred to all of us as drug dealers. And that's offensive. I was even expecting our government to react strongly to that. But we haven't done that. So this just say, if they carry this, just like waiting the lobby firm talk. Then talk say, for Onanoga to talk, say, then they know the patriotic, say they're unfair on Nigerians. It's as if you're using the sin of one man to brush the entire country, which is exactly what Nigerians go through. It can't be like, say, now the sins of a few people for inside the country, now they use brush the entire country. So at the time when you say, would they accuse, say, oh, we get brothers when they go commit some kind of crime for some countries where we know like, where people they hold them for. Is it fair to bring up this kind of issue about our number one man at this time, sir?
Well, what I will tell you is politics is very dirty when men are desperate in politics. And that's why you've seen our politics have become very dirty to the extent that people will calibrate thugs to go on voting day and perpetrate voter suppression. You can't get dirtier than that. Out of frustration, a lot of our citizens now want to be crying to the international community. It's so dirty there are no accountants. Don't forget, the most important tool in leadership is trust. Trust comes from accounting, not just accounting, open accounting. So far, most citizens in Nigeria believe that the government has not been accounting. You can see APC senators in frustration talking about impeaching the president because the national budget, which is actually a law, is not adhered to, is not implemented. So a lot has gone down in our country. That's total breakdown of law and order.
Is it that bad, sir?
It is calling it bad is for the sake of not knowing a worse word to express it.
Hell.
It's very bad. Now that I tell people what we're suffering from are the consequences of state capture. So for me, President Tinubu has done a lot, which he believes are good. I like his removal of subsidy. I like his movement towards creation of the state police, which will not change the police that was created for us by the colonial masters, the British. But I am not happy at his inability to be transparently and honestly accounting to the people. And because he refused to be transparent in accounting to the people about the way he's running the state and the way our resources have been spent, people are now getting very desperate. For him to spend 74% of the entire national budget in contracts to a company that he is part of, a company his son sits on the board, and without going through any bidding as prescribed by law, that's the reason why you're seeing now the Minister of Works, David Umahi, is now beginning to cry about the problems that he has seen in trying to implement a project that should have been started upon the full study of an environmental impact assessment. We're now finding now that they did not know what they did. It's one thing to cancel the laws and then grab contracts that don't go through legal biddings. Take land wherever you want. Here in Abuja, there are public parks. The largest orthopedic hospital in Nigeria is the Jabi Lake Resort.
Wow.
It is a place where Nigerians with challenges in old age come out to try to cure themselves. Nigerians walk in the park. Nigerians exercise themselves in the park. It's doing more than any hospital in Abuja could do for orthopedically challenged elderly citizens of the country. That particular park has now been seized by the Minister of the Federal Capital, and now it's been allotted, as I hear, to the son of the president. And that simply
are you serious? That the famous Jabi Lake Park that a particular woman of God was begging Wike not to demolish, and she said no matter what, he said no matter. Are you so? It's now allocated to Sheyi Tinubu.
That is what it is.
Are you
that park?
Wow.
Originally, when people built on it, it was originally a borrow pit. From that park, all the sand, the red sand that was used to construct Abuja by Julius Berger was taken from that park. That park, because of the sand taken from that area, water started settling in that place. It became the biggest man-made lake in Abuja. Julius Berger now built some kind of terraces across the park. And when Julius Berger had it, and then Julius Berger sold some shares to Nestor, some people in government were not happy. They drove Julius Berger out of Abuja, forcing Julius Berger to run to Akwa Ibom, where they worked. And then from Akwa Ibom, they came to Bayelsa. From Bayelsa, they came to Rivers. From Rivers, they are now in different states in the east. Now that Mr. Wike is back, he has brought Julius Berger back. I think Julius Berger has withdrawn their case against the government, in which they sought for payment of the money they expended in building of that park. But the park has now become so important. Nigerians, on every weekday, you have up to 1 million people using the park on a weekly basis. Suddenly, the park has been seized and repurposed from being a public park and now being given to Sheikh Tinubu as a private property for Sheikh Tinubu's company. That is wrong. President Obasanjo saw to it that Mr. El-Rufai destroyed all houses that were previously built on that park. And it was designated as a green area, as a park. And it has served the country since inception of this, our incipient democracy. Suddenly, this year, the park was seized, sealed, and now awarded to Sheikh Tinubu. That is wrong. That is wrong. It goes against the Green Policy Initiative that was in the Abuja Master Plan. So things like that are happening. You also saw the allotment of 74% of our national budget to Tinubu's company, in which he has a joint venture in that company with Mr. Giba Shaguri. Giba Shaguri was a friend of Abacha, who was given Eko hotels. President Tinubu, when he was governor, challenged that allotment of the majority shares of Eko Hotel to Mr. Giba Shaguri. Tinubu challenged him in court. I think while we were in court, Mr. Shaguri was able to convince Tinubu that they can do more business and share. And that was how Tinubu withdrew that case from the court. And today, Tinubu has become a partner of Mr. Giba Shaguri, and they are involved in sharing the Eko hotels, the Kuramo lands, the Kuramo waters lands, and the garbage. President Tinubu's issue has also now come. He has now changed the purpose of use of that park, and suddenly the National Public Park at Jabi has now been allocated to his son. These are some of the things that we complain about. This is not fair. This is very wrong. I condemn it in entirety, and that's what I'm telling you. A lot is going on in the country that is not proper. Why should Jabi suddenly be repurposed by President Tinubu? Because Minister Wike wouldn't do that without a repurposing of the green area by President Tinubu. Tinubu is the executive president in charge of the federal capital. And he has now started acting as he was doing in Lagos, reappropriating public spaces that are designated as green areas into private use, and now causing that park to be allocated by Mr. Wike to his son. I condemn it, and I do not like that. It is the largest, the biggest orthopedic hospital in Nigeria. It is serving public purpose and public use. I condemn the repurposing of the largest orthopedic hospital in Nigeria into private hands. That's wrong. A lot of people in old age suffer from a lot of challenges.
Yes.
They go to that park in Jabi, they walk about and they get healed. Why should that hospital be now converted into private park, private property that Minister Wike has not issued to Tinubu? It is wrong.
But sir, some may think
not
that it's
allowed.
just an allegation. Are we right about this? Is this in the public that
I am not talking about allegation. I'm talking to you. I was today at the park. I was invited. Went to the place and I saw it. They've actually built a wall taking over the park. A wall has gone around the park. The park has been divided into two. And then it has now been awarded, from what I hear, to Tinubu.
so
It is wrong.
So sir, but one of the things that worries me is that if Tinubu has done all this, obviously what a lot of Nigerians react to or see as being overreaching and high-handedness, only you want, out of all the contracts within Nigeria, the most expensive of them, where bid, do anything, can't give one man, and they give him more. You understand? And then this whole thing, like what you just mentioned now, and some other things you say you don't do. I don't even want to go about the way the national anthem was changed and all of that. Why are Nigerians quiet? Why are Nigerians quiet about all of this? If the things is done, it's enough. It's perhaps unbearable, something that we should not tolerate, or it's undemocratic, if I have to say, in the way that people have been expressing and talking about it. Then why are Nigerians quiet about it? Why are we not talking? And then please, sir, why is the president resolute in coming for second term? If he do all these things at a time where he say they still see people vote for second term, when he can enter second term, when you know anybody anything, what thing go happen, sir?
You're asking this question that me and you don't know. There is nothing wrong with President Tinubu seeking a second term, but let that be done within the provisions of the law. Let there be free and fair elections. The way the opposition is being strangulated is not very good for our democracy. I condemn the anti-democratic maneuvers of the government. As I speak to you today, the former opposition party, PDP, is dead.
Who is that? Oh, yeah, the party, PDP as a party. I thought that was a human being. So PDP is dead. But Wike says that PDP is the only opposition they have right now.
Well, Mr. Wike said openly that his wish is to make sure the PDP dies, and the PDP is not able to present any candidate to challenge President Tinubu. He has gotten the courts to help him finish the work Atiku started.
Oh.
The death of the PDP is caused by the toxic, inordinate ambition of Atiku Abubakar. Atiku's toxic ambition is the reason why him and Wike got into the tussle, that finally Atiku, after killing the PDP, he's gotten Minister Wike to bury the party for him. So for me, these things are not good for our democracy. It is not good for the country. That's why the people, out of desperation, are now seeking to embrace the Kano example. And that's why you're hearing from the opposition ranks that they will not go to court, that they will seek the elections to be decided at the polling booths. Let the votes count. And those who do not want the vote to count, members of the opposition are insisting that they will make sure the votes count. So for me, It's a very dangerous time for Nigeria. Nigerians have been pushed to the wall. The democracy they thought could develop has been strangulated. You can hear what everybody's saying. People are saying, and I repeat, Peter Obi, I believe his words. For him to have come publicly to say that he may not be alive, it simply shows how very much afraid he is for his life. Because of the behavior of rogue cells scattered all over who believe that they are doing things to help the president. Take example, the news about the court ruling in Lokoja.
Yes, sir.
When the NDC sent people to Lokoja to get the certified true copy of the court ruling, the court simply told them they never ever ruled such a thing.
But this one, they say is a different court. So one, I think one is the Federal High Court and one is the State High Court, according to the responses.
Whatever it is, that simply tells you there are rogue elements operating from very unknown cells to undermine the democracy. They believe they are doing this to bring advantage to the intentions of Mr. President during the elections. This is not good for our democracy. And I plead to the government to do all it can to dissuade such rogue elements who are operating as independent cells unknown to law. Different kinds of rogue cells do this kind of things. But the government has to be very stringent in condemnation of such actions so that whoever it is that thinks they are doing it in intention to help the president will stop. I pray that we should have a free and fair election. President Tinubu has done quite some things that are praiseworthy. His attempt to decentralize the stationing of the army. I was today with some generals.
Okay, sir.
And some were telling me that now a lot of the army things have been decentralized and they are aware of the movement of certain things to other parts of the country. That I welcome. I commend Tinubu for trying to decentralize the postings and commissions and citing of posts of the Nigerian army. I condemn the attempt to consolidate and concentrate everything about Nigerian military in Kaduna State. That is wrong. Some things should be put in the north, some should be put in the south. And I think Tinubu's attempt to put different divisions of the army in different geopolitical position areas is a very, very commendable work. But I condemn the anti-democratic tendencies of his government and elements who seem to be very, very loyal to the intentions and the wishes of the government. These elements may not be government people, but they are acting in intentions to bring advantage as they believe to the government. This is not good. We should have free and fair election. We should not do things or allow things to be done that undermine our democracy. And I believe that's the main talk today across the country. The number one problem we seem to have is the fear by a lot of our citizens that the elections will not be free and fair. That's not good. It's very, very bad. And that's why you saw Mr. Peter Obi lamenting that he believes he may not even be alive by the time we get to the next election. Now, this is very, very bad. I commend him for having traveled outside and staying outside So as he did, today he's back in the country. Because as he traveled outside, the tension cooled down, calmed down. I believe the government knows that it is in the interest of the Nigerian project that people feel secure under the government. And its duty that is forced upon it by the demands of our constitution, that all citizens should go about their legal, legitimate business in a free and fair atmosphere. That includes also the political parties. So whatever it is, the president needs to understand that the eyes of the world are upon us. When people start to complain about these internal problems, what the presidency have been known to do is to spend money, to hire lobbyists, to try to blow this thing, instead of answering to the demands of the skeptics and those who have fears that intentions and the body language of government undermines democracy and the citizens' expectations about a free and fair election. We need to have free and fair election. Our incipient democracy has been undermined by very, very, very illegal, crude, and dirty maneuvers by people in government. Let Nigeria breathe. Let our democracy build.
Thank you, sir. All right, Nigerians, phone lines are open. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask Dr. Katch. I've already posted the link on the pinned post. So please click on the pinned post and the link is there. So you jump right into the conversation to ask Dr. Katch any question that you have. Or unfortunately, you can't call us on WhatsApp right now because I'm calling Dr. Katch with the same phone. But you can call... directly. You can call directly. Better still, just click on the link on that pin post and it will bring you straight into the studio. So, Dr. Katch, there was a letter that Donald Trump sent to our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and people don't talk about that letter. And then some people assume, say, the letter, they even get mind to talk, say that letter will not be original. Why would people think that way, sir? What's your thoughts on the whole idea concerning the letter?
First, you are wrong. There was no letter from the US president to Nigerian president, nothing like that.
Sir, you said there was no letter?
There was no letter. I personally have called my friends in the US government. They told me there's no letter.
Sir, if there is no letter and we are posting it, what is that? No, now, the US can even sanction us or take us to court for lying against their president. And why do you think the US hasn't responded if it's not true?
Because the Nigerian government have not said there's a letter. In desperation, that's what I'm telling you. Elements who are loyal to the Nigerian government have spread this lie about a letter. There is no letter. The supposedly letter you saw is fake.
Yeah.
There is no such letter. I speak to you with all sense of responsibility. I will want anybody who thinks I'm not speaking the truth to take me to court. There is no letter. I have called the United States and my sources have told me unequivocally that there is no letter. I repeat, my sources have unequivocally told me that President Trump did not send any such letter. If President Trump sends a letter, you will see President Trump's letterhead. You will see President Trump's signature. You will see all the paraphernalia that go with such things from the office of the President of that state. I am telling you now, there was no letter. What you saw are fraudulent maneuvers informed by desperation on the side of the Nigerian government. There is no letter. It's also wrong for me and you to say the president or President Tinubu's government, because the government have not told you there's a letter. This is just a propagative material, just spread out in the wild to try to deceive the government.
Your balance is still Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, I'll call Dr. Katch right back. Sincere apologies. I didn't realize I don't have enough units. Sincere apologies. I'm going to call Dr. Katch right back. And it's so shocking to hear this from Dr. Katch. There is no letter, or there was no letter. So what happened? So I was about to read the letter from Bayo Onanuga to Dr. Katch. Yes, what he said, what Bayo Onanuga wrote to Dr. Katch, so that he will see it. And I'm really very shocked to hear this. And I don't know. I don't know how. Let me see if I can reach Dr. Katch back very quickly. This is very disturbing. Okay, let's see if I can reach Dr. Katch back very quickly. So, oh wow, because Bayo Onanuga did right. In fact, he was the first person to make a statement about that, even though he didn't post a letter, but he wrote about. Dr. Katch, please, I'm so sorry. Sincere apologies. I didn't realize I ran out of units.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem.
President Trump lauds President Tinubu's decisive leadership against terrorism. I won't read them to you. Say, now Bayo Onanuga write them. Now make a read it in right. And it's still on his page till now. He has not removed it. He said, U.S. President Donald Trump has lauded President Ahmed Tinubu for his decisive leadership on behalf of the Nigerian people. In a letter to President Tinubu, in a letter, it's still there by Onanuga page. Now from in Twitter, the reader. In a letter to President Tinubu, President Trump applauded Tinubu's resolve to tackle the issue plaguing Nigeria, especially the violence affecting Christian communities. Then put them on quotes, like say they quote them. According to Trump, it is a true honor to stand with you in the fight against these terrorists and to make the Federal Republic of Nigeria stronger and more prosperous. He said quite a lot. He said full text of the letter dated July 6, 2026. Dear Mr. President, thank you for he read the full text. He showed us waiting the right for them. And we don't see the text too. In fact, I just play you waiting Daniel Bwala also talk for an interview with China's television concerning the same letter.
Curious,
I know you said there's no
this letter.
Yeah,
when was this letter written?
Have you seen the statement?
Yes.
We work with the statement.
Okay. It does look like this letter came in on the 6th of July.
Oh, really?
That's what it tells us.
Okay.
Why are we just knowing now?
I don't have an answer for that.
That means that
is the content of the letter false?
That there was indeed a letter. In fact, in his earlier message, he even said, why are you not congratulating us? He was telling Sean Kimaloyi, why are you not congratulating us? Because if people hear things like this from you, they will believe it more. That's what he said. Even though people were worried about that statement about believing it more, why would you think that people will believe it more if they hear it on China's television? But then he did say it. So, sir, how possible is it that the two spokespersons to the president, one will write it, one will talk about it in an interview, and indeed there was no letter?
I am telling you, I stake my reputation, I stake my name. There was no letter.
You stake your name and your reputation to what you're saying?
Yes, there's no letter. I've already had direct confirmation from the United States. Before Bayo Onanuga came to work for President Tinubu, I have had direct contacts with people in the State Department and in the White House, and I still have that. There is no letter. That thing is just fake. It simply tells you the height of desperation in Abuja, being expressed by the Nigerian government. There's no letter. It's just fraud, fake. Nothing like that. It doesn't look good.
So why is Trump not reacting? Why is he not threatening to sue if we don't reverse that statement that he sent us a letter? Because everybody knows Trump.
Listen, no, it's not true. The Nigerian government has not told you anything. People are just playing with paper, trying to. It's just like the issues you hear in Lokoja. There's nothing like that. There's no letter. Forget it. You're going to see more of this kind of thing happen. President Trump writes such a letter, me and you know, everybody will know, he will resist it. You know, it doesn't exist in any of the major papers, none of the major platforms. It's not on Reuters, it's not on CNN. Nobody knows about it. It's just a scam. There is no letter. Take that from me, please.
Sir,
I challenge any human being.
Okay, sir.
I challenge any human being to try to repudiate my position with facts. There's no letter.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Let me again play you something, an excerpt of what Daniel Bwala said.
I'm sure you did not even congratulate us for the abducted people that were restored recently. Did you congratulate me for the letter? Did you congratulate us that the collaboration is becoming deeper? At least if Nigerian people...
Okay, sir. So it's the presidential spokesperson whose duty it is to speak on behalf of a president who will come to a national television station to refer to something that does not exist.
A lot of things don't exist. A lot of things don't exist. We already have our national budget. Implementation of that budget doesn't exist. A lot of what the government says are not true. So the earlier we adjust our minds to the existence of fraudulent propagations, the better. There is no letter, my dear sister. There's nothing like that. I don't like to comment on things that don't make sense. But you also need to understand, if there's a letter, Trump himself will advertise it. Trump will sign it. Where is Trump's signature?
Yes.
So these things are not what you start asking people that they just happen. There's no letter. What you're hearing is fraud, it's false, it doesn't exist. So I don't want to start wasting my words on such things. There's no letter. It doesn't exist. Nobody wrote any letter to them. They're simply trying to propagate falsehood to be able to gain mind share. It doesn't exist. Don't deceive yourself. Don't waste your life on such things. If there's a letter, we will know. It just doesn't make sense. Ignore it. There's no letter, please. I don't want to comment on it. There's no letter.
All right, Nigerians, so phone lines are open. Please do well to call in, and don't call in, just join the link. This link has been problematic for a lot of people to join. Dr. Katch could not join through this link, but I hope you get lucky to join with the link. So please click on the link on the pin post, and it will bring you straight into the studio. But if you're unable to join, my sincere apologies. Dr. Katch, another thing I want to quickly call your attention to. Daniel Bwala said something that got a lot of people very, very angry the other day. I wish I would play that exact thing he said to you. When Seun Okimaloye was asking him, if you say we have won the war against insecurity, why are people that are displaced not going back to their displaced homes? Here's the answer.
I'm sure you did not even congratulate us for there shouldn't be any security station in Nigeria. Then I would say respectfully that you are not being objective about it. America is the strongest secured country in the world. But 2 months ago, you know that there was an attempt at the president twice. Insecurity is an ongoing thing. We have repelled, we have resolved, reduced the attack. We have gone on the offense. There are so many things to talk about so that woman in the rural area, that man in the rural area would rather be encouraged that progress is...
Why do many communities still remain displaced or inaccessible?
The progress has been made.
Why? Why is it happening?
That's because, okay, like as you are now, if I'm trying to look at the best description of... you go to church probably, and it is not the will of God that people should be poor. Why are there poor people in church?
Did you hear that response, sir?
What did he say?
He said that it is not the will of God. When he asked him that if you say that you are winning the war against insecurity and that security has improved very well, why have some of the displaced people not gone back to their villages? And that was the question by Seun Okimaloye. And then Ebola's statement, I'm coming, sir. Then Ebola's statement was, you go to church and the Bible says that all will be rich. No, none shall be poor amongst us. Why do we still have poor people in church? That was his answer. Do you think this represents President Tinubu's reaction to the fact that people cannot go back to displaced people cannot access their communities anymore?
Well, the problem is that the reasons why I don't want to take such words seriously because I did this Fulani monologue for the past 12 years on Nigerian television. No human being had spoken as much as I have in this country on this particular issue. I stake my reputation, so I understand it. The people who are headed into IDP camps are Nigerians. Their homes are currently being occupied. Their villages are occupied by foreigners. If truly you want to tell people that the issue has been resolved, the right thing to do is return the people back to their indigenous villages, return the people back to their communities, return them back to their farms, not to keep them in IDP camps. That's just the issue. So there is no need trying to tell me that you have done this. It just when government officials talk, who is talking? Mr. Buala. That you still take him seriously and then try to make his talk something I should speak to. I don't normally do that. Once a man tells you who he is the first time, believe him. That's what I do. I don't take Buala seriously. I know who he is and that he's not serious. So just leave him there. You know, Buala is just the same as Kenneth Congo.
Okay,
this kind of people are not to be taken seriously. What I have simply told you, if the president and the international community are insisting on to show us is serious, bring back the indigenous people currently now headed in IDP camps back to their communities, back
Thank you,
to
sir.
their villages.
Thank you, sir. I have a question to ask you in that direction, but let me quickly speak to someone waiting, standing by. Mr. Comparable Facts, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, good evening, Precious, and good evening,
Welcome.
Dr. Katch. It's
Dr.
always
Katch.
pleasure to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Katch can hear you. I can hear you too. Go ahead.
I was trying to validate what Dr. Katch said in reference to this letter, because if you look at the official White House, archive, there's no independent source verifying that this letter actually exists. Okay. And the White House had never acknowledged that because I did my own, my own investigation. Even my friend, well, not me, did my own investigation. My friend, who is a lawyer, did the official investigation. He went to the White House, archive. There's nothing like that. I don't know when that letter was written, but if it was something recently that was dated July the 26th, no, that's a fake. Okay, that's a fake letter. I believe what Dr. Katch said. That Katch is actually right. It may have been something that was written before, but there's no letter in official White House, right now that's praising Tinubu in reference to that. But that's even nonsense. Why are we so concerned about Trump praising Nigerian government? What is the validity? What is that going to do to Nigeria, Dr. Katch? Trump is preoccupied with Iraq war right now. There's a global more concerned concerning Trump, an American, American issue. The midterm is coming in November. This is what is concerned. America is kind of flowing to the wrong direction. So it's not here about America. But my point is that all this nonsense about whether Trump said it or not, it doesn't mean anything to Nigeria. I don't know why we are so concerned about that. Dr. Katch, can you make a comment in reference to my, to the direction I'm going to? Because it doesn't make any sense, whether Trump said it or not, in my own opinion.
Okay, Dr. Katch wants to know that why is it important for why is this letter even important, whether it is real or not? Why should it be important that we seek validation more like from Donald Trump? What's the importance?
Well, the idea, what the presidency is trying to do is trying to dissuade Nigerians from thinking that the American intervention in Nigeria will go anywhere against President Tinubu. That's what he's trying to do. Do not pretend like President Tinubu, like the Americans are with them. You heard what Ted Cruz said, that instead of Nigerian government answering to the international demands as to why the killings sustained in Nigeria and the insecurity has been rampant, it is busy buying up spaces in American discussion rooms to try to blur the picture. When you now buy the working time of lobbyists so that they can occupy discussion spaces with lobbying to blur the picture, to say, no, what Americans have seen that force them to bring boots on Nigerian soil doesn't make sense. The government knows what it is doing. The crisis is an international crisis. The world is now interested in what's going on in Nigeria. So the government will continue to exhibit these kinds of acrobats. Nigerians have only just seen the beginning. And the government is using lies. Of course, Trump didn't do any such thing. Trump didn't write him any letter, nothing. No letter has been written to the Nigerian government by the U.S. administration in 2026. That I know to be a fact. But it's also wrong for us to think that the government will just sit down without doing anything. You are not beginning to see what the government is doing. In America, it is paying lobbyists to try to blur the story, to try to deny the truth that the world have already gathered through real ironclad intelligence. It is not trying to misinform Nigerians to pretend as if it has won the acceptance and the friendship of the U.S. administration. That is not true. That's what it's trying to do, nothing else. So Nigerians just need to understand. I know this will go. This will, because the minute our countrymen understand this is just a fraudulent, acrobatic maneuver, then the government will stop. The right thing to do is address the problems we have. You know, you now have had people telling you that Sheyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo, is demanding for an international, or at least if it's local,
probe,
a local, private, non-aligned interrogation of the circumstances around the kidnap and the subsequent release, not rescue, the subsequent release of the people abducted in Oyo, because the governor says they suspect foul play by rogue elements working in intentions to provide advantage for government. Now, when you have somebody like Bayoshe, who works for the government, accused Governor Makinde of having staged the kidnap, and then you now see also Makinde telling you that he believes the kidnap was staged to try to embarrass him after he had announced his intentions to run for president. The right thing for us to do is to find a neutral third party to interrogate and investigate the circumstances of this kidnapped. What Makinde says is he believes it was staged. Let there be a private organization, a third party, to do this. No, we've not done that. We now see the government publishing papers pretending as if the U.S. government wrote the medicine. I repeat, if the government thinks that what I say is not true, I'll be very happy to have them take me to court. Why do I say this? I have it on solid authority from the United States. And what the government is doing is a lie. There's nothing like that. There is nothing like that. I have had access to very secure sources in the United States before President Tinubu became the president of Nigeria. And those channels are still available to me. And that's what I use to confirm that the letter that they are purporting to have been written by President Trump is fake. It doesn't exist. So the question is, why is the government doing this? Why does it need to lie to the citizens instead of addressing the concerns that I raised? Address it. Make sure these issues go away. Fight the terrorists. Stop giving money for politicians to take part of the money and then tell us they spend this and they spend that. We don't know what they've done. But because of this agreement in the internal workings of government, we are beginning to learn of the truth of the kidnapping. Those who are giving money, I know another one in Borno. People who are giving
Did you hear that one, sir? In Borno State.
Of course, we know. I know those things, and I'm following them. But what you are also seeing is suddenly citizens now having the courage to speak up about what they do. Because the minute you see Governor Makinde speak up, the next thing was others would follow him. We're now having citizens confess. So I have long said that these things are contrived. You know, it's not good. It's not the best. We should stop it.
Okay.
There is nothing to show that we are serious as a people. And let me also tell you, the government continues to engage in this fraudulent acrobatics because of the docility of Nigerian citizens. We are docile. That's why they play us like this, lie to us. They will set us against ourselves, and we will start going to do bigotry and voter suppression. It's not the best. It's not the best. I'm very optimistic about Nigeria. I know it will work. I don't complain about the things I see now. It makes me happy because when the government now gets into this level of desperation, it simply tells you that the citizens are beginning to put eyes, ask questions, and they're getting very, 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 very concerned about what's going on. Before, Nigerians were just, in line with our normal docility, don't care about what happens. Today, we're talking. Today, we're speaking. You can see the government has done all it can to muzzle down the press. The television stations, they don't talk anymore. They don't invite people like me anymore. That's why we've now taken to the social media, to podcasting, to be able to get our messages in. The government does everything possible to blur the truth. They stop us from speaking. Those who want to speak the truth are attacked. Those who manage to speak the truth are condemned. Why should we do this? So for me, it's a duty that I have taken in my contribution to national building to be blunt, to share with Nigerians the truth that I know. But I also must tell you, societies do not get well through the contribution of everybody. No. Societies get well through the works and efforts of a few good men. It doesn't take everybody to change society. It takes the actions of a few good men. I have been on this issue with you. I have been on this issue in the political space. I started in the PDP. I managed to construct a movement which I hunted and got someone like Vito head. Today that movement has taken a life of its own. These are the things I think citizens should do. We should not be afraid because I believe the most important of all virtues is courage. Docility has undermined our progress. And that's why you don't need to blame these people who do these things alone. We also need to blame ourselves for our docility. Our docility is the reasons why they continue to perpetrate this kind of ism upon our land. Nigerians deserve better. And I have no doubt the current crossroads where we are at right now as people of a country known as Nigeria is good. We're beginning to sensitize our people in a good way. Because when I started, I told people that the more I sustain my propagations, if they are not intelligently reported, only a matter of time will they become acceptable wisdom. And that's what we've gotten. When I was doing the Fulani monologue on channel television, I remember Maupe telling me, are these not conspiracy theories? Today, those things are realities. Nobody asks or doubts it in us say that are conspiracy theories. They're not conspiracy. Nigerians are uprooted from their homes and their villages and then headed into IDP camps. And the government feels comfortable and don't do anything. Yet, the first duty of government is the provision of security for lives and property of its citizens. But our government has failed us. A consequence of state capture by the few protagonists who think that they can pocket our country. So I'm happy Nigerians are finally beginning to wake up. I have no doubts we are at a very historic moment and point in the history of Nigeria and our history as a society.
All right, sir. So, responding directly to the question of the question the last caller asked, what exactly would you say again? I mean, if you have to repeat it, is the reason why this administration would go that far to care about a letter by Donald Trump?
Well, you need to look at the truth. Take it from 2022. This administration did not actually win the election. This administration was forced upon the citizens by the acrobatics perpetrated by elements of the Buhari administration. And that was why when I was asked recently what I felt about the problems between the president and Mr. El-Rufai, I said that was what police would call family case. And after they stole the election, Tinubu complained. People like El-Rufai and others did not trust him as a party man to let him rule. They sold the presidency to him. And he confessed it openly that he bought it on him. That's why he thinks, having purchased this, he now needs to milk the cow. Nigerians are not happy. The country is not doing very well. Even though I commend some of the policies of the government, like the removal of subsidy, the subtle attempt at devolution of power, I condemn the government for not being transparent in issues of accounting. That's why we have problems today. Today, our national budget is not attended to, it's not implemented, and I think I know his strategy. Pauperize everyone else and be the only one with the money that you can use to instrument outcomes when elections comes. Well, even some of the APC senators that supported the government at inception are now threatening, like Senator Mongonu, that they will start impeachment proceedings against the government. I think all that is just noise, because having contributed to perpetrate this evil against the Nigerian people, you now want to start complaining because suddenly the evil which you contributed to bringing is suddenly affecting you negatively. I have no sympathy for such people.
All right, sir. So moving forward, I mean, I'm sure you would have heard this drama between Senator Ali Ndume and the Borno State Youth Alliance president. After that explosive or revelation from him, he's been arrested. And people think that it's just a way of shutting him up. But do you believe that the Nigerian government, federal government, and the state government will join together, go as far as paying about 5 billion naira to Boko Haram?
I heard that story.
Yes, sir.
But I also am aware that that issue is now an issue for the courts. So,
okay, Ali Ndume said he's going to court, yes.
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware they've gone to court on that issue. But that also tells you there is no smoke without fire. If they're not beginning to fight about how the money is being shared, it's not my business. They will fight and they will reveal everything to us. It's like the problem about the ghost agency and how the purported DG of the agency is now fighting with Mr. Bajabi Amila. You can see that there's no transparency in the questions towards discovery. For you to be transparent in seeking discovery, you need to put the interrogations in the hands of neutral people. It's wrong to make Wajabi Amila the judge in his own case. It simply tells you, no matter how this noise is done, we're really not going to get far. The government is bent on covering its tracks.
All right, sir. Mop, do you have further question before I go ahead? With
Yes, I do. Thank you very
Go
much.
ahead.
I do.
Go ahead.
So, Dr. Katch, in reference to the comment you made in reference to Nigerian people, docility or what I consider to be their passivity, I kind of feel like when you have 0.01%, that's what I verified. But if I'm wrong, you correct me. They are the one controlling the government. They are the one ruling Nigeria. And with the populace, which is about 99 point something, has not been able to show some, assertiveness. I don't think anything is going to happen in this country until the populace take action. This is not a question. This is just a statement. So my question to you, I'm going to ask, let me differ to a different ground. What is NDC? How far is NDC? I know you are inner circle with NDC. How are they doing right now? What kind of inroad are they doing are they doing in the north? My last question is this: Did the minister David Umahi implicate himself by making contradictory statement? I've had the kind of statement that he made. So those are my two questions. Thank you, Dr. Katch, for what you do.
Can you repeat it again, just for
Okay,
emphasis?
the last one I said is about did Minister Umahi implicate himself by making different utterances, which is
About
contradictory. That's
Kabila's death.
yes. Then the last one that I asked was about NDC P2B. What are they making inroad in the north? What is the situation of NDC as of today? I've not been
Okay.
following. Yeah.
All right, sir. So, would you like to react to that? One is about Dave Umahi and Habila, and he made contradictory statements, and then the second is about the effectiveness of NDC in the north.
The NDC's organization in the north has been thrust upon Senator Kwankwaso.
Yes,
the issue of the NDC in the north, Kwankwaso has been allowed to organize the north, and he's doing very, very well. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far. Being that as it is, I want us to allow him to do his work. Remember, that was the main reason why he said he was going to resign if they would not allow him to organize the north. So they've allowed him to go on to organize Kanu. And of course, in addition to Kanu, he has shown that he is now a truly trusted grassroots player with what he's been doing in the north. I'm very impressed with a lot of things I've seen. So I saw in Kaduna, he put Senator Danjumala as governorship, and a lot of other selections that he has done. I commend him. Okay? So for that, that's a good one. And I think we should allow that party, let them do what they can do, and then be able to judge them. They are still ongoing, they are still addressing things, they are still organizing things.
So you think the NDC is gaining ground in the north gradually?
I think it was a very good thing to allow Senator Kwankwaso to organize, as he's currently organizing, the NDC candidates and slots and other things in the north. This is what I think he is doing very well. I'm impressed. I think we should give him the benefit of doubt. And if possible, wherever we can, give him the support so he can do more of what he's currently doing.
Okay. All right. There are lots of questions I would like to ask about that, but let me let you answer his second question around Dave Umahi and his reaction to Habila's death.
The issue about Dave Umahi, that issue is an issue for the state. I remember some time ago, somebody from Ebonyi State said that Dave Umahi, it's a member of a fraternity that demands blood.
Whoa.
And we have seen a lot of death around Dave Umahi. We didn't understand the reasons for the death around Dave Umahi. You know about those 5 Netherland engineers?
Yes. Mm.
When Dave Umahi was interrogated about the whereabouts of engineers who came to him that he was having arguments with, Dave Umahi produced that they produced stories that the people were killed by some stupid masquerade from Ebonyi. They said no, produce the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Umahi produced some 5 fake bodies. Among the bodies produced was one woman.
Wow.
None of the bodies that were produced by Dave Umahi, and they did DNA testing, matched any of the 5 engineers.
Wow.
So this issue of killings have been going on around Dave Umahi year in, year out. So now that this one has come about the Mary Habila, I think the right thing, what I told people who asked me was issues of death and robbery in Nigeria are issues of state. These are not private issues. Families to have no right to say the state cannot pursue investigation in issues of murder. Because if you allow a murderer to go free once, then you're preparing danger for the resident. So I believe that the words that we were told about Dave Umahi, which we didn't understand, are things that we should actually now begin to interrogate and investigate now that deaths around him have persisted.
But sir, do we not think that can all this not just be a mere coincidence, really?
No. There's no coincidence. I was told by a very senior citizen from Ebonyi State that Dave Umahi belongs to a blood-demanding fraternity.
So you're saying this in the public, Ingo Konto Singo sue you.
I am very happy if you go to court against me. I don't just talk. The things I'm saying are in the public space.
Hey.
I don't make one thing about me and my person. I never say anything that are concocted. I only share what's already available in the public space that people may not know. Now, these deaths didn't start now around Dave Umahi. So I believe this is not the first, this is not the second time. I believe this is probably the one that now caught him right now. You know what they say? Every day for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. Blood, spilling of blood around Dave Umahi has assumed a very frightening frequency. And it's not proper. Those 5 engineers died as they visited Ebonyi after they had protracted quarrel with Dave Umahi because they were enlisted by the providers of the international grant that was to be used for building development infrastructure in Ebonyi State. Dave Umahi had a running battle with this guy. I'm talking to you now. The families of those 5 engineers have recently now petitioned the authorities for a detailed investigation to their missing relatives. The bodies that were provided by Dave Umahi, 5 bodies, none of the 5 bodies matched the DNA of any of the 5 men who died. And it was also discovered that of the 5 bodies Dave Umahi provided to be the corpse of those that were killed, One of them was a woman. So those things where he thinks he can just bring body, it doesn't work. You know, I say this because just as I was saying about insecurity, when they were killings up north, danger to a Nigerian in Tariff State presents danger to Nigerians elsewhere. You cannot be comfortable if your own brothers, if your own relatives, if members of your society, if your own citizens are being killed somewhere. I have nothing against Devomai, but I am uncomfortable. I am disturbed by the orgy of death around him.
Orgy?
This is not the first time.
Orgy, sir?
Yes, the orgy of death.
Orgy of death, okay.
Exactly, around him and his name. This is not the first time. This is not the first time this has happened. This is, look, his money is bent. It's not correct. It's not proper. Why should Nigerians be dying in his hands? Why should Nigerians be dying around Devomai? Why? This is not fair. You know, I pray for the repose of the soul of the 5 engineers.
That is if they are dead. Since you said there is no DNA to prove that that's their body, so we're not even sure if they're still dead or alive. Maybe something happened. Can we tell really that they're dead?
That is why when something happens, you investigate. That is why these people, even though they come from the north to the east, they are Nigerians. If we're able to now interrogate this, we could also go back to the case of those 5 engineers who died after visiting Devomai. Until today, we didn't see their body, we've not seen their remains. These are human beings. These are human beings.
But now that you have made and stated all these points, how is it that...
Let there be investigation.
I know. My question is that, are we even normal in this country? Because if you have made all these points that you made, then how come we have not had any government official or police interrogate or ask these questions that you're asking now? Is it that the police is not able to reason this way, to wonder why things are happening this way? Why do we not have anybody asking these questions that you've just raised?
Our society is captured by people with privileges. And those people with privileges, when things concern them, it is swept under the carpet. This is not the first time people have died around Devomai. I say this, it becomes very disturbing every time human beings die around Devomai. It's not normal. So why don't we now use this to really investigate what's going on? What is the fear? Do it so that people don't die again tomorrow. It's not fair. It's not the best. It's not good. Human beings should be respected. Human lives should be well regarded. They will just allow human life to be wasted every time around this particular man. Why do we keep quiet? Because the society is a society where the privileged can commit murder and go scot-free. That's the truth. Is this the first time? No. Is this the second time? No. This is not the first time. There was originally a doctor from Oba in Anambra who also died.
Yeah.
Yes, this is not the first, this is not the second. Things have been happening around Devomai that ends up in death for human beings. It's just that this one now happened to be the one that has brought him up nationally. I know, I believe that what I was told before about Devomai could be true. Let us investigate. Let us ask questions. The 5 engineers who died after visiting Devomai, Their families never saw them. Nellan Consulting Engineers. Had a running battle with them. They now went to see him. They never came back. When the families made demands, he produced 5 bodies, claiming that the people were killed by some masquerade. The bodies were tested. None of the bodies he submitted, the corpses, matched the DNA of any of those 5 people. Now, we have a young woman dead. We shouldn't keep quiet. Let us ask questions. It's unfair to the poor. It's unfair to the Nigerian people. It's unfair to the people of Ebonyi State that every day in their state, people die. People very close to Dave Umahi, people whose stories are linked to Dave Umahi. It's not the best. We must bring this to an honest close by doing honest interrogations to investigate the roots of this orgy of deaths around Mr. David Umahi. I condemn him. I condemn his ways. I condemn the killings. I condemn the attempt to sweep these killings under the carpet. These are human beings. People have relations.
But sir, he doesn't have immunity. So if he doesn't have immunity, why are we not asking questions? Why are the authorities? I thought any case about death is a state versus the is a state's.
Yeah, but don't forget that you're talking about Dave Umahi. Dave Umahi is even a privileged big man. What about the people who are killed? We're not talking about Nigerians who are headed into IDP camps. What about those who are killed? We seem not to have value for human life in Nigeria. That's why we just do this kind. This is not the best. Citizens are killed, government don't do anything. This is not the best. So it's not like the Dave Umahi is an exception. No. This has been a rule. People are killed everywhere. And nobody talks because of how very dirty, porous, and compromised the system is. So let us do proper investigation to uncover why people always die around Dave Umahi. So it please, for the sake of those who are alive, so that they don't start dying tomorrow again. It's possible that what I was told is true. It's true. Why death every time around Dave Umahi and then nothing happens to him? This is not unfair. The families of those killed seek closure. And that closure cannot only come from an honest interrogation of circumstances around his death. I condemn it. I condemn him too.
Mr. Comparable Facts, do you have more questions for Dr. Katch? I'm sure that'll be all right. Okay, sir. So, Dr. Katch, leaving this, because this is very scary, hearing all of these issues. So, leaving the issue of Dr. Katch behind, I've had a guest on this platform who had queried why it's been difficult for the Nigerian government to bomb those displaced villages. So, the scenario is like this. People have been driven away from their villages. They cannot access them.
The reason is very simple.
So if we know that people who are staying there are illegal occupants, why is the Nigerian government not striking those villages? Understanding that those there are not original owners. Is it not the best way to chase them away?
It is difficult for government to do because
why?
The sponsors and patrons of the jihad are in government.
Whoa.
Government is complicit. The first law and duty of government is the security of life and property. When Buhari thought the use of ethnic cleansing was a strategy to gain land to resettle these Fulani refugees, that's exactly what you see. The people living in these villages are not Nigerians. These are foreigners who have come in from Mali, from Central African Republic, displaced by war in central Mali between the Fulanis and the Togons. instead of President Buhari to work hard to try to bring peace or even to implement the 2015 peace agreement in Mali, Buhari said all the refugees should come to Nigeria. This is the problem. They have come to Nigeria. We need to find a place for them. I won't lie. Buhari tried to get them land, but it was fraudulent, arrangement he did. And that's why the Nigerian legislature refused to cede land. And that was why Buhari and the Fulani leaders thought they can now use violence to achieve ethnic cleansing as a way to gain land to resettle these people. If they are Nigerians, they will have gone back to their states. That's just the truth. But because they came from far, the people in government are now working to make them stay there while the owners of the land are headed into IDP camps. This simply tells you that the government is complicit in this jihad. And I condemn it. I condemn the government for their actions.
So that means as it stands now, because people are wondering, why is the government acting like we're helpless when you can actually do something? And that something is to strike off those people in those villages that are illegally occupied. And then we can't do it. So, and then why are we giving the international community the impression that we're working on it if we're not able to do that?
I want to assure you that like all issues about land, this crisis will be resolved. And indigenous people who are currently headed into IDP camps will be returned to their place. Take that from me. Because if you check the history of issues of land, no matter how long it takes, the owners of the land always get returned to their land. It's just that the federal government, since from the time of Buhari, are bent on trying to get these people there. It's also possible, as the Senate President said, that after the elections, the government may then be able to remove those people and restore the landowners back to their homes and villages. Maybe the president doesn't want to do what, according to him, may offend the patrons and sponsors of this terrorism, who may be useful in his calculations to his chances at the next election. That may be, I suspect, his reason for staying armed. But after the election, he made them be forced. Because you see, the people most of the people you see, the young ones run away to the south. Because even when they say the IDP comes, these Fulani militia pursue them. Now you see what we're talking about. The ISWAP, which was peopled majorly by people of Ibroken, and then the Boko Haram, peopled majorly by Kanuris. They are different. It is the Fulani militias that have been engaged in these issues of ethnic cleansing, because they needed to, to resettle the Fulani refugees that have come from Central Mali, that have come from Central African Republic into lands in Nigeria. But you see, the problem with this problem is you now want to put them in other people's land. What are you going to do with the original landowners that are currently now staying at IDP camps? That's why I tell you, it will be resolved. No matter how long it takes, it will be resolved. Benue State is 98% Christian. What you have there are simply two denominations. One, the Catholic Church, and the NKST. The NKST stands for Nengu Christi Al Sudan Hentiv, the people of Christ in the Sudan of TV extraction. That is the old name, because before the country Nigeria was founded, a lot of what you know today as Northern Nigeria was referred to as the Sudan. That's why the original church that now gave birth to the Equa Church was SIM. SIM means the Sudanese Interior Mission. The Sudanese Interior Mission. A lot of Northern Nigeria was referred to as the Sudan. That's why you see Hausa chieftaincy titles were denominated in the name Sudan. They will call you Sarkin Sudan. Now we will know that was the chieftaincy title of Alaji Esa Dagazao. Sarkin Sudan. Now we will know. You see? So it has not changed. And the TV had NKST, which means Nengu Christi, Al Sudan, Sentif, the people of Christ in the Sudan of TV extraction, and the Catholic Church. That's all you have in Benue State. But the Fulanina who came in thought that they want Benue State because Benue has water and Benue has grass. That's the reason you see them fighting in Benue, fighting in Plateau, fighting also in the Mambila Plains, in Gimbu, in Taraba State, fighting to take land off the people of Southern Kaduna. It's all over the place. It's all over and this was perpetrated by the government of President Buhari. President Tinubu has come in and actually he's incompetent in handling this crisis because he was never able to calibrate a reaction to the fallen slow motion war. Thank God that the Americans came in. That's why me and you are now having this discussion. You know? And you can see how the government worked very hard to try to hire lobbyists, to try to blow this story, instead of dealing with the problem. No, they want to come and lie to the international community that this didn't happen. Who are you talking to like that? Of course, you can see how the American society is. If you have money, you can hire lobbyists. So that's what the Nigerian government has done. Hire lobbyists. And once that you have money, the money you pay will be the reason why some people will be going to try to convince and confuse the U.S. administration. But I'm happy for the words of Senator Cruz, as he said it. The Nigerian government is busy spending money on lobbyists to try to block
and
the
he
story
said that they
instead
failed.
of dealing with the problem.
He said they failed. In fact, speaking about that again, I think another Senator Smith also did say something about the genocide, and then the U.S. representative in the United Nations, and also spoke about it. But sir, the next question would be: say at a time when Ibise will say, "Oh, U.S. don't withdraw their troop from Nigeria," why Ibise would they see a reawakening of this?
They did not withdraw their troops.
Okay, sir.
They withdrew some personnel.
Okay.
After the killing of more than 200 people, the fear of reprisals of those kind of guerrilla attacks made them to send those people back. Normally, under U.S. law, when you are on tour of duty in a theater of war, the tour could be 4 to 6 months. But if you are to be stationed in U.S. foreign base, that could be 3 to 5 years. So the postings are very much in order. U.S. personnel are still on Nigerian soil. They've not all left. No, they've not all left. Nigeria still remains occupied till this day by the U.S. security personnel.
You know, just before we go, we just heard now that the Ebonyi State Traditional Council, according to People's Sahara reporters, Ebonyi State Traditional Council, led by Omahi's brother, have announced spiritual cleansing and declared curfew in the land. Do you think this is related to, the death? Because they are saying that this is after Abila's death.
Those things are inconsequential noise. What would the Traditional Council do? Would they do investigation? Can they arrest persons connected with the crime? It's just some noisy.
So the point is, why they need to cleanse their land at this point? What sacrilege? What you cleanse land when there is a sacrilege committed in your land?
This is a distraction. They are wasting time. They should have intervened at the beginning to prevent their son from being a member of a blood-sucking cult. I have no doubt the killings every time around Omahi are premised on the demands of the fraternity that he is a member of. That's what it is. It's not normal. Nobody. Every year, there will be deaths around him. Every year, people will die. No, come on. So nobody's a fool. So only now are we now beginning to think of the things we were told before about Dave Umahi. Okay? Dave Umahi is evil like I am. But of course, I condemn such bloodletting. It's not one, it's not twice, it's not the third. This is a norm with this man. So let us go and interrogate why is it that every time people die around him, let's go and investigate. Society can get to the root of it if those in authority to coerce are sincere about this. And that's why I keep telling you, our docility has remained our own doing. We're always docile. Okay? And I remember when the girl died, we only got to need when they are planning to go and just bury her. And that's why people now raise their voices. But is this the first time? No, it's not the first time. Everybody wants to just noisy stationary rulers. What can they do? Nothing. It's a police case. Let the police do the investigation and let us hear what they have to say. That's how I take it. So I don't take seriously all that noise by the inconsequential traditional rulers. What would they do? Do they have power to say they will order the autopsy? They don't. The people that have the power is the government, and the government is handling the issue. So I think we'll just allow the case go on as it is and pray that the government does the right things. Because if we don't solve this problem, more people will die as more people had died before today.
All right, sir. So very quickly, still going back to the U.S. Conversation, a U.S. congressman had asked for a revisit of Nnamdi Kanu's investigation, as describing it as unfair or the judgment as unfair and all that. Do you think the Nigerian government will listen to that?
Why not? The Nigerian government, because they were caught with their pants down, will do anything to satisfy any demand from the United States. So that's not an issue. Okay? I see Nnamdi Kanu is a creation of the Buhari administration. And when they fell out with him, then I came for him. You know? And whatever it is, however it is that it started, my problem is when he now pulled out to start doing what he was doing, why was he not able to carry all members of his group along with him? Why did a lot of members of his group stay back to work with the government to perpetrate the unknown government sting operation? And when Tinubu came in and Tinubu stopped paying them, that's what you saw us started crying in the open. You know, so for me, we don't yet know the full story about the integrity concerning those insurgent actions under the Buhari administration. You can see since Buhari stopped being president, the whole country is calm. Nothing happens like this before. So all those things were being instrumented by Buhari. All of it, the killings and all, they were all covert operations by the Buhari administration. I have said it, I've continued to say it, and I will not stop saying it. The killings, all those false acrobatics about Biafra, those things were all instrumented by elements of the Buhari administration.
All right, sir. Let me quickly let Mr. Edwin ask his question quickly as I release you. Mr. Edwin, please go ahead. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Precious.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Ononuju. How are you, sir?
He's very well.
Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. My question is a comment, just one comment, and then the question. I do not believe in the intervention of the US in Nigeria is going to make, and they aren't interested in the Nigerian affairs or the Nigerian people. What I think we should be channeling our energy towards is pleading with the US to help us in the obligation of a free, fair, and credible election. if we are able to get our elections right, things will fall in place in Nigeria. Things will fall in line. But if we don't get our elections right, and we still have perhaps the unfortunate time to have Tinubu back as president in 2027, Nigeria will be gone. That is the area I'm looking at. Because Donald Trump is not interested in any Nigerian affair. Donald Trump is a transactional president. He's not interested in anything. You know, I said it the other time when the troops came, they bombed somewhere in Sokoto. I was just looking at it. I said, you think Americans will just come send their troops into the Nigerian soil or have boots on ground to do what? They wouldn't do anything of sort. They have never done anything right in any country anywhere. So the only advantage we can take of our relationship with them now, if there is any at all, is in the area of our general election in 2027. Just like the way Obama came in 2015 to maliciously oversee an election where he thought Buhari was the Messiah. Let them do same with us.
All right, sir. So kindly go ahead with your question, sir.
Yeah. So what do you think? That is the area, and what is your opinion about it?
Okay, sir. So he's asking that what's your opinion about the US instead of, all what we're hearing, rather help us to press on President Tinubu to give us a free and fair election.
And what you have to understand is we don't have to remain docile. We are lucky, as I told you, as I continue to say, that Americans are suddenly interested in Nigeria. Of course, as you can see, as the Americans came, the government has woken up and started spending money to buy lobbyists to try to change opinion or to try to dampen.
But do you think that the opposition can go ahead and ask and request that they should help us press for a free and fair election? And why is the opposition not even pressing for it themselves?
The opposition is divided due to the actions of Atiku. Atiku, for what we know, have finally now decided to also engage the services of U.S. lobby firms. So you're going to see more Nigerians, even directly, employ lobbyists in the United States. The Nigerians in America know what they're doing, and they're strong and very influential. So, luckily for us, I can say Nigeria is suddenly a country of particular concern, not only within the U.S. government, but also in the Congress, and of course, within the larger U.S. society. We don't have to stop. It's like a man who suddenly his boat has now been offloaded from the big trailer and has now been put inside the water. You have to understand, your boat has finally got into the water. It was being transported from somewhere, maybe 500 kilometers from the factory where it was built, onto your area where the water is. It is now your duty to do all the things that are necessary to make sure that that boat gains momentum. Nigerians must now do everything possible to sustain the momentum that Nigeria currently has within the U.S. administration spaces, the U.S. congressional spaces, and of course, within the U.S. social spectrum. This is just a beginning. You have to understand where we are. Since the British left, we have suffered in the hands of the Fulani. This has been going on. But Nigerians have never had the courage to go out and try to engage the international community to actually take interest in our issues. We have finally just achieved it. So, if you have suffered for about 40 years, suddenly you now see somebody around to help you. Be calm. Be calm. Because if you stay for 40 years without doing anything concrete to try to help yourself, and suddenly somebody comes from the moon and here he's an expert, the man is the best when it comes to that illness affecting you, what you do is you calm down. Nigerians should be calm down. and then do everything possible to put more work, to sensitize, to inform, to show, to bring to picture, even including begging those who have come here in our shores. And that is the United States. Of course, the government will do anything in its power to try to, as Senator Cruz says, blur the lines.
Okay.
So as I told you earlier, we are now in the true war of the narratives. I have no doubt Nigeria has the numbers. Nigerians also have the clout. And people are suffering so much that Nigerians now have been united in pain. The pain is so severe that we will do everything we can to raise our voices. How do you raise your voices? Intelligently engage people who can speak to the U.S. administration. Right. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. That answers your question. Let me quickly take Pansat. Mr. Pansat, you're welcome. Please kindly, we're about wrapping up, so please kindly make it quick, sir. You're welcome.
Hello, Madam Precious, Dr. Katch, and Mr. Edwin. How's everybody doing? It's Friday.
We're doing okay.
All right. Dr. Katch, your politics align very well with mine. And, we've gotten to where a lot of the stuff that you've been saying over the years, it's time to prepare. The preparation of the readiness of Nigerians to refuse to have the same thing happen this 2027 that happened in 2023, which aligns a little bit with what Mr. Edwin is saying, saying that we should put all our efforts into the election. Now, I disagree with him in the sense that it's not a one-trick pony. We'll do that. We also want to make sure that we do some of the things that Dr. Katch is saying. We cannot say we don't want the help of the United States to bring order to the country, because we've seen the United States, they don't have 100% record, but that if we look at the countries that the United States have helped, we could go all the way back to World War II, go to Japan. The United States wrote them a constitution and curtail their monarchy a little bit. We'll come all the way to Germany, West Germany. We'll come all the way down to Iraq. Okay, even Libyans. The problem with the Muslims is that when you give them freedom to then have the roots of democracy take over, like they did in Japan and in Germany and other places, they don't, right? Libya, yes, they had a situation where they have beautiful castles, just like in Iraq, beautiful castles for the head of state, but they're free now to take over their country. So I know you're about to leave, Dr. Katch. One day I want to have a conversation with you, because in our place has an Ophonia and which means one person just can't do the whole thing. You do bring some heat, that we need action. We have to be ready to go back. What I mean, this 2027, we have to go back to war. If that's what Southwesterners want, we're going to have to do it. There's no, I mean, we can circle around it. The problem is this. They're doing things and they say, what are you going to do about it? Just like, I hear people be saying, look, I won. River State is there on the board. I won. But then if that's the case, why can't we stop them from doing that? We can. I truly believe that we can stop the Southwesterners from further ruining the country. We could go back to war. We can defeat them in no time. No time at all. Not even a month.
Mr. Pansat, please don't use this platform to drum the drum of war, please.
I'm not.
Well, that's the way you sound.
Madam, let me tell you what there are things called provocations. We are being provoked. They haven't done the kind of there.
What is the point of your question or your statement now?
The point of my question is that if you have provocations, then we have to discuss it. If somebody, you can't tell me if somebody comes and grab one of our sons without due process, throw him in custody, and we endure it. You do all kinds of things and we endure it. We've been to war before, so it's not a satiric. It's something you know. So if Dr. Katch is saying what I'm saying now, you're not gonna stop him. I go directly and I'm saying to you, if you have provocations where you go and you grab somebody's mandate, you switch off that beavers, that is a cause for war. Especially if you really cannot do it to us. If you're too small to do that to us. They switched off the beavers, we endure it. You grab one of our sons without due process, having custody. Let me tell you, I know that, like I said, I do want a longer period of time to have a conversation, so I won't be upset. Okay.
Thank
what
you.
I'm saying, so pardon me, I don't want to disrespect your platform. I love the platform. All I'm saying in conclusion is this: a lot of these things that are being done to us, we're not victims. We don't have a victim mentality. Here in the United States, you have to be convicted by a jury of your peers, and there's 12. As a defendant, you have a right to choose a jury trial instead of a court trial. You could say, no, I don't want a judge to decide my case. Not only that, you're supposed to be judged by a jury of your peers. It's absurd to have Muslims trying a Christian. Okay, you hear the United States come over there, made a finding that there's Christian persecution. Now, when you hear persecution, it doesn't mean there's Christian killing. Yes, we have that. Right? Muslims killing Christians. Persecution is a much broader word, which includes politically persecuting us, legally persecuting us, stealing the elections. So I want you, Precious, to be prepared for this. If they continue what in their thinking, that they're going to go in there and rig their election, I want you to be prepared to hear words like war. I want you to hear about violence. We cannot, Nigeria and the other tribes, they're not going to let you subject us to another 4 years of this administration. Okay? You hear the David Umahi situation, they're not going to investigate it. You hear them creating fake agencies.
But David Umahi is your brother.
That's right, right? David Umahi is my brother, but they don't have our support. Those are them.
Okay, so if you can go straight to your question so that let Dr. Katch react to it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, Edwin and everybody, thank you. I'll come where we could have a longer conversation.
All right, sir. Dr. Katch, did you hear the things he said? Would you like to react to it?
I did not reform his words if you did understand.
Okay, so he's saying that he believes that the Igbos should prepare for something more drastic, especially if this election is rigged, because according to him, that they cannot just hold Nnamdi Kanu, without any perhaps provocation that warrants that kind of holding. And then he said a couple of other things. And then now we want to rig election also. So if the election is rigged, the Igbos should prepare. And that's why I had to tell him to stop drumming the drum of war, because he did say that the Yorubas may not win the Igbos in war. And I said, no, it's not time for that. In case you'd like to react to that.
I will tell you that the Igbos have learned their lessons. Issues of Nigeria should be treated as collective issues by all Nigerians. The Igbos are not the only ones suffering. The Hausas suffer the most. Yorubas are not happy. Nobody suffers more today than Hausas. The killings that have been going on under the Tinubu administration killed Hausas more in Katsina, in Zamfara, and Sokoto. The good thing is the Igbos have been very withdrawn. It is not them, so they should not take someone else's war. They shouldn't fight other people's fights. Yes, we are affected. You can see what it was that the Igbos saw long before now. They lacked the capacity to tell that to other people. We already have shown them, and we have that. So everybody is now coming to that moment of epiphany. And let's just allow Nigerians collectively do what they should do. Igbos shouldn't do anything on their own unilaterally, no. They should try and build consensus with other people, as we're seeing it now. You saw what the Plateau State governor did some 3 days ago, apologizing to the Igbos for the mistake of joining the rest to kill Igbos during the Civil War.
What do you think that means, though? Because that was shocking for a lot of people.
It means that they have finally seen that the devil is the Fulani. So, because you look at the killings, the Fulani engage in killings, and you don't see Fulani leaders openly condemn it. That's why I say they are all complicit. When a father sees his children or his brothers killing other people, members of society, he keeps quiet. He doesn't say anything. He is part of the killing. Because the silence of an elder in a place where something terrible is happening in society simply makes that elder guilty. That's complicity. So Igbos are not going to be the one to start any fight or what. No. Igbos are watching. Igbos are responsibly reacting either through planning or through sensitization through other members of assembly everywhere. So we have passed that stage. It is no more a thing for the Igbo to do alone. No.
Yeah, could I respond to
all
you a
of
little bit,
them who
Dr.
joined
Katch?
the Fulani to fight the Igbos are right now, as I'm talking to you, up in arms against the Fulani. Don't forget, during the Civil War, the largest tribe in the north that joined the war were the TV. You can see the fate of the TV today, the house of the Fulani. You can also see the Bajaman, who were the second largest ethnicity to join the army. You can see their fate today in Newman, how they are being killed by Fulanis. So that's why I tell people, don't because of the past.
You can't hear me. Okay. I don't want to push back on what he's saying on that.
Insist that you will not show empathy when Nigerians are killed. Igbos should not, will not, and cannot carry the walls of Nigeria on their own head alone. No. We must build consensus and approach our common problem as people of one nation. It's foolish trying to act unilaterally. It doesn't make sense.
Precious.
All right, sir. Thank you. Let's not drag this now. The night is fast spent already.
Let me just respond briefly to what he said. I do disagree with him on that. We of course.
What's your point of divergence?
The point of divergence is that we don't have to wait to have a consensus. The Nigerians say three-legged stool. That's true. The provocations have been on and coming and going on for a very long time. And like he said, we've been very patient. But we're not a defeated people that are just going to be relying on that. The effects of the provocations come to us, then if we can do something about it, we're going to do something about it. He is right. The alliance has mixed a little bit. The Benue people, of which Gowon, the protagonist of the Nigerian side, is from that side, have realized their foolishness, obviously, and I'm quite impressed with that. But no, that's quite amazing coming from Dr. Katch, because I agree with him in most things that he says forcefully. You can't be saying what you've been saying all through these couple of years, and then say that we're going to sit back and take it. Whatever they do to us, we're going to take it. And then when others, as if what they're doing to us, they're doing to others. What they're doing to us, they're not doing to others. The Igbo is over 120 million in population, double that of the Yorubas, right? The maps are not drawn to scale.
All right. So, Mr. Pantas, let's let this.
Precious, let me just stick in my last word before I go.
Yes.
You know, I have always emphasized on this platform, every now and then, quite often, that Nigeria was founded on faulty foundation, and the only remedy is to get good leaders elected. And how do we get good leaders elected? It is by free, fair, and credible election. Once we have people of repute on the throne, that is at the helm of affairs, they will collectively come together and address that faulty foundation. If you look at, I have read from the Nigerian Constitution over and over and over again. It's a faulty piece of work. And if we don't revisit it, we will keep having this band of criminals as our
Right.
leaders. So that is the area I'm looking at.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you, sir.
I kept telling you about electoral reform. It all boils down to the same thing. My own focal point is having good people at the helm of affairs. For instance,
All right.
if we
Thank
have
you.
a Peter Obi as president and we have people of conscience that are there in the National Assembly, they will willingly address that constitution, because that constitution has to be revisited. We are a federation, but are we a federated unit at the moment? Are we practicing democracy, which constitutes the bedrock of our federalism? No. Otherwise, people like Wike
Thank you,
and
Mr. Edwin.
Tinubu
So
and
that we don't drag this issue. The night is fast
yes,
spent.
yes,
Thank you, sir.
Festus, that is my parting shot.
Thank
Until
you.
we do that, we can make all our brilliant submissions. It's not going to work. Nigeria
Thank
won't
you.
work until we revisit that constitution.
Thank you. All right,
Good
so
night,
Dr.
eh?
Katch, let me take your parting shot. Thank you. Good night and God bless you, sir. Let me take your
Yeah.
parting shot, Dr. Katch, sir.
Yeah, what is this?
I said, let me take your parting shot. I mean, if you have something else to say.
My parting shot is that nobody should lose hope.
Hmm.
No matter what you're seeing, no matter what the acrobatics you're getting, let us band together. Let us build a coalition that willing, so are willing to work for Nigeria's greater tomorrow.
Okay,
I think that's what we need.
Thank you. Thank you.
Whatever you believe in, however you see it, don't lose. Let us come together and work as people of one nation for us to be able to salvage the Nigerian experiment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. And sincere apologies for the network glitch that we've experienced tonight. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. It's always good to have you. Good night and God bless you, sir. Thank you. All right, Nigerians, that's the size of a package tonight. Another day. Great conversation there. Thank you to everyone who's been part of this conversation tonight. It was a roller coaster. Somehow, our village people did not want this to happen, but thank goodness that the conversation eventually took place. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you. Thank you for your reactions. Thank you for your calls, your contributions. Thank you for always staying loyal to this platform. Kindly like and share this post if you haven't done so. Ensure that more people see this so that we'll continue to be educated and informed about what's going on in our country. I love you guys and I appreciate you. And I do hope that we'll see tomorrow evening, God willing. Please protect your mental health.